We'll sip our worries away, nice and slow. Your laughter ripples like sweet warm wine. In this jazzy sultry space, you're mine. The saxophone croons a velvet tune, while melodies dance beneath the moon. We'll toast to moments both grand and small, in this hazy, lazy, jazz-touched hall. Let's sit together in the mellow night. We'll drink to love till the morning light. Every glass we raise a promise true. Here's to the magic in a drink with you. Your eyes, they sparkle with every click. Sweet rendezvous over a simple drink. We'll share our secrets in whispers low, just you and me where the jazz flows slow. The world outside fades into the mist, but here it's our own dreamy tryst. With each sip our worries drift away. Let's stay together till the break of day. So let's sit together in the mellow night. We'll drink to love till the morning light. Every glass we raise a promise true. Here's to the magic in a drink with you.
The following live stream has been approved for appropriate audiences. It may contain occasional strong language and may not be suitable for younger or more sensitive viewers. Viewer inebriation is advised, though not mandatory.
Good evening, Martini Gallery, and welcome back to Last Call, where it's a brand new year, but it's still a Marshmellow World. Tonight, we sip on the highs and lows of entertainment's wildest year, 2025. Winners? Those crafty souls who turn flops into fortunes faster than you can say box office smash. At least that's what they claim. They're out there reinventing reinvention. Yeah. And losers, well, we've got a front row seat for their downfall. Blinded by ego, tripped on trends, left clutching yesterday's scripts. Bitter? Sure, but hilarious too. Raise a glass, folks, to glory's fragile edge. Then top off your glasses and get comfortable, and we'll roll this Canarble Wagon right now.
Last Call is streamed before a live audience.
Welcome back to Last Call, first one of the new year. Looking forward to this one. It's been a brutal year, and that is why we drink. So glad you could all be here. Let me start by saying hi to all of my panel, starting with my lovely wife, who seems to want to say something to me, Netter of Netter's Network.
If it's the first last call of the year, shouldn't it be called First Call?
First call. Good point. Hadn't really thought of it that way before. How you doing, Netter, and what are you sipping on?
I am doing well. My plan to get things all cleaned up and all that around the house, I've ended that. I am happy where I left off. So now I am celebrating with, I'm not even sure what this concoction is.
It is a pomegranate gin fizz, but we decided to go with rum because I didn't have any gin on ice, and it's actually not bad. It's actually really, really good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
And because I also didn't want to pour it over ice, but it's actually a pretty yummy drink.
It is.
And Boomer, How are you doing, and what are you sipping on tonight?
Doing fine. I am sipping on an unsweet iced tea.
Well, that unsweet.
Yes.
Unsweet. That's
Yes, unsweet.
just cold tea.
Listen to me. I went to the movies. Yes, it's cold tea. Funny man. Okay. I went to the movies today and I got the pretzel combo and it looked like it came with a pretzel and a medium drink. It did not. It came with a root beer that was like 3 times the size. And I'm like, I'm not drinking
Wow.
soda right now because I already had a bunch at the movies. So no. Yes.
Gotcha. Well, that's fair. Let's say hi to all the wonderful people in the chat, starting with Lynn Green. Welcome, Lynn. I know you had said earlier today you might not be able to stay, but glad you were able to stop in. She said good evening, to which Enigma Severus says can't prove it. Well, you can't prove it, but we strongly suspect, my friend. Good to see you. Welcome. And Big Al presents. You were just hanging out with him a little while ago. Have a great show, my friends. Thanks again, Boomer, for joining me earlier for Robin of Sherwood. Hope you guys had a lot of fun there. Let's see here. Of course, another saying, like, share, subscribe, become a member, do all the clicky things. Let's see. Leave a comment. Only 136 more subscribers needed to become monetized. For whom?
Boomer.
Oh, for Boomer. Yes,
What?
make sure you subscribe to Boomer. He is 136 away from that magic number for monetization.
Getting there. Yeah. So
let's get him those subscriptions.
Thank you.
You guys came through for Big Al. You came through for Netter. Now let's take care of this old fart over here. Let's see.
But, yeah.
You were going to say?
Last night, I know you're looking for one more gifted membership, and I don't know if you got mine because I sent it on your Doctor Who stream that's going to be this Sunday, and I'm wondering, does that not show up until that stream happens? Do you understand? I went into the comments on that and dropped off a gift membership, but now I'm wondering if that does not redeem itself until Sunday.
Do you know who it was that got it?
Didn't tell me.
Oh.
That was a big problem with my stream on Wednesday night. The last couple of gift memberships that we were getting was not showing the people's names. But yes, Ruby Hoof came through for me this afternoon.
That's good.
With
Two.
she gave me one, which put me right to the 100 mark, and then she did another one just to make sure that I went over. So yeah, we're good. But yeah, I'll look into it and see where it is. Sometimes I get a little note within the that particular video that tells me that I got a gifted membership or someone became a member. So I'll take a look for that. And speaking of a member, JPRPH1 dropping those members emojis, the Canarble Wagon, the dark, well, it's a black fedora, but it looks kind of gray in the emojis, the channel logo, and the brown mumbler saying howdy, folks. David Pensack says, Happy New Year to you, Troy, Netter, and Aged Boomer. Welcome. Salute to you, Deleted Scenes. Good to see you, my friend. He also says, like, share, do all those clicky things. Thank you so much. I don't think YouTube has approved the following streams. No, they don't approve anything we do.
They don't approve of anything we do.
I can only hope that I just fly under their radar. That's the best I can hope for. 2025 totally and emphatically sucked. Well, it did. We're going to try to find a few silver linings there. No. You are not in downfall. That was Bruno Gantz. Thank you very much. Happy Friday to you as well. Daniel Barry, Sports Highlights. Good to see you, my friend. We are on our first call, February 2nd call. March to September is mid-call to slurry speech. There you go. Hey, I like unsweet tea. I will be going to the movies tomorrow. I am so excited, but they are wanting to charge me 50 cents per reservation. That is weird.
What?
The theaters are trying to do everything they can to stay alive, I think. Penny. Good to see you. So glad you're here. Sashi, greetings from the future. So glad you're here, my friend. Yep, Big Al confirms he got to his 900. And it won't be long before you get another 100,000 that, just looks good. Just looks good. Mine didn't go through. It bounced back for whatever reason. Okay, well, thank you for the feedback. That explains it. It doesn't explain why it comes through and says that you put it in, but it does explain why it didn't actually go to gifted membership to an actual person.
Uh-huh.
Jeff Morris says, cheers, all welcome. It's good to see you. We're still working our way through the hellos. I will not shortchange my Martini Gallery. I'm waiting on my daughter to bring me chocolate frosty for my sore throat.
From Wendy's.
A lot. Let me tell you, I thought I was the only one. I used to do the same thing. The chocolate frosty for the throat, best thing ever. And if you're one of those types like me that asks them for some saltine crackers that they usually give with the chili,
yeah,
crunch that up in there. Kind of helps scratch the throat
I have
a
a
little bit.
weird sore throat remedy, and it's not the 2 recipes I told you all about before. I used to be a receptionist a million years ago, and since everyone kept using my phone, I would catch whatever they had, and I would get sore throats a lot. By accident, I discovered that if you take small pieces of ice and you sprinkle them with salt, and then you suck on a piece of that ice, it really helps your throat. I don't know why or how, but it does.
The cold soothes and the salt dries. That's why. And does a little scratchy. Jonathan Conroy says, hey, I'll smash the like button and enjoy the show. Yes, please do. Thank you. And happy Saturday from the future. Exactly right. My theater that is 45 minutes away now charges $2 to reserve a seat. Wow. Yeah, like I said, and we're going to get to that as we get into our predictions for the new year and what we're looking forward to, if anything. And I think that catches us up. So that's probably a good pivot point. Let's go ahead and get to that presentation. The winners and losers of 2025. Let's face it, there were a lot of losers, so we only have so much time in the stream, so we can't talk about all of them. We just had to narrow it down.
Now you decided to do 3 each, so I decided to do 3 each as well. So
yeah, okay. I was just spitballing. I didn't know,
and I didn't do any.
Because let's be honest, it was hard to come up with, but I think the ones that I covered you and I are pretty simpatico on these kinds of things.
Yes,
we'll see. If you disagree with me, by all means disagree with me.
No, I will be ignoring the chat in case people. Well,
I thought you were going to say I'll be ignoring Troy.
No,
especially as he drinks.
Well, let's go to Troy's first pick.
Okay. What's my first pick? Yeah,
you have Stranger Things.
Oh, we're starting big off the line here. This was one of my winners, and I gotta say, I knew going into this, it's probably best that we put this up front before I've had too much to drink, so I can maybe censor myself a little bit. But I get why so many people in our sphere of creators are pointing the woke accusations at this show, but I've talked about this before. I think that as much as I agree that I'm sick of the woke and I'm sick of certain agendas being pushed on us, at the same time, you can't get so overly sensitive to it that you see it everywhere, right? And I really do feel that my biggest problem has been with, in fact, I'm real quick, I want to, I really hadn't planned this out because I wanted to share something in addition to this. So let me bring this up.
The story?
No. Well, I'm going to bring up the story, but I want to bring
I
up
have a
something
clip
else
for that.
first.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
This is something I hadn't shared with you, at least not yet. Let's see, how does this come up? Add to screen. Okay, yeah, this is just going to be over our faces, and that's fine. This is from Kevin Lee. I have no idea who he is. He's some sort of a film reviewer. He is responding to everything price sufferer, but especially eggs. I have no idea who these people are. But this person said, I appreciate that Avatar has remained painfully sincere in a time when every sci-fi movie has to be snarky and self-referential. This is probably what also makes it an easy punching bag. Now, again, this is about Avatar. I have no dog in the hunt as far as Avatar goes, but it speaks to something, and I'll get to it in just a moment. At some point, we reach a culture where movies feel obligated. Oh, excuse me, this was past tense. We reached a culture where movies feel obligated to make fun of themselves, as if they need to get ahead of the curve and make the joke before the audience does. Somewhere along the way, we started to value looking smart over being genuine. It sucks ass. And I couldn't agree more. This came up. I wouldn't have known about this if it hadn't been for Snarky J's most recent video. She was talking about Avatar and was pointing this out. It made me think of what we've often talked about in regards to Richard Donner and Superman, who completely changed the face of superhero stories by saying, we are not going to do what Adam West and whatnot did with Batman and turn it into a farce. We are going to take this seriously. Verisimilitude. And what caused Superman 2 and especially Superman 3 to fall apart was they got away from that. And they were doing exactly this looking smart and being cute over being genuine. And I feel that so much of the art we're dealing with these days, I didn't mean to go specifically to his, but I wanted to look at a couple of these comments. Yeah, it's the so-called millennial writing. It's so tiresome. Not every story has to be meta and a joke. This is something that we have said too about James Gunn and his Superman. It's like, can we not have a nice heart-to-heart between Clark and Jonathan that we have to, throw a joke in and break the mood? We can't just let the drama sit, Everything's got to be Guardians of the Galaxy with this guy, The woman sitting next to me in Avatar 3 snickered audibly through her nose every time the whale creature spoke. I don't know anything about this, but I get it from context. Every single time across the 3-hour plus movie. It's like, lady, if you're so above this movie, why are you even here? Absolutely right. Okay. So first,
he has more patience than me because I'd be sitting there, lady, shut it or leave.
Yeah, exactly. I'm actually here to enjoy the movie. If you're so above it, get the hell out. No, but be that as it may, I feel, and the reason I bring this up now is to set the tone for how I feel that a lot of what we point to is, yes, it's some messaging. Yes, it's some of what you're calling woke, but it's also this kind of writing, this kind of, and this is where the real destruction of our franchises are coming from. We care about these franchises. We take them seriously. And you don't have to be a fan of that franchise to do that. Harv Bennett was a great example with Star Trek. He didn't understand Trek. He wasn't a fan, but he understood storytelling and he took it seriously. That's how you show reverence to a franchise, to an IP that you, the director, writer, caretaker for a temporary amount of time you don't even own and you did not create and you have no rights to. You know, you are not invested the way the company that owns it does, and the fans that have been supporting it for decades are invested in it. Anyway.
Someone should tell Taika Waititi that in regards
Well,
to Thor.
there's a lot of people in the entertainment industry we'll probably be talking about tonight that this applies to. But having said that, I feel like the Duffer Brothers, first, they're not destroying a beloved IP. They created this IP.
It's their own thing. They can do
It's
with
their
what
own
they want.
thing with their own characters. They didn't take a Golden Age Green Lantern who was married with children and then decide suddenly we're going to make him gay, right? He introduced young characters that are growing up, a couple of whom, and if you go by the ratios that I remember when I was growing up, pretty appropriate inclusion there, right? It's not every character that's gay, but a small percentage, just like the small percentage of people I grew up with that I knew were gay, right?
Yes.
He's being realistic, and those characters, you could see the development of that character. It shouldn't have been a surprise to anyone. I'm getting ahead of myself, though. I did want to bring that point up, but then I also wanted to get into this little Variety article, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, but Stranger Things 5 hits 34.5 million views after Volume 2 drops, helping Netflix to its best Christmas viewership ever. For all of the negativity and bashing and stuff that I've been hearing from some of the big YouTube channels that I follow, from all that I'm hearing, the average fan seems to be enjoying this show just like I did. Yes, I'm going to be a little bit critical about some of the things that some of the other fans have been critical as well. But none of them were so egregious as to make me not enjoy this series, this season of this series. I've seen people comparing it to Game of Thrones, and I'm like, what the hell have you been smoking? That's just an apple. To call it apples and oranges isn't even fair. This is like apples to prickly pears. I mean, it's ridiculous. But apparently it's done a lot better than I think a lot of people in our sphere want to admit that it has been. When I stop sharing, why is this still here? Let me go here and remove that. Sorry about that, folks. And I do see some of the chat piling up, so I don't want to.
You already did this,
ignore
right?
you guys.
Yeah.
Yes, I just they have a different picture, but yeah. Oh no, I'm sorry, you guys talking to each other there. You can avoid the change if you buy. Oh yeah, you guys are talking about the movies. That's fine. Bravo for your mention of Harv Bennett. What was that? Started reading the new Star Trek 3 book. This is conveyed in the text of the book. Yeah, exactly right. Making of, that is. Sure.
Oh, the making of Star Trek 3.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly. So you have okay. I hope this is, if you've been watching this show for the past 4 seasons, it shouldn't be a spoiler to you that Will, the kid in the middle, who was the central focus of this story, he's the first main character that he was literally abducted by the big bad of the whole series, who's on a bit of a, I don't want to say, I guess he's on a hero's journey, but honestly, I feel like every positive character that you like in this is on a hero's journey. This is not like, the MCU where it's just the women or it's just, it's a diverse cast. Let's not, look, right here, it's a diverse cast. You've got the gay guy in the middle. You've got a so-called person of color. I use that because that's apparently the appropriate term. That's not going to get me canceled, but I know, guys, I really do. And that's the other thing. Something else that I'm going to be talking about in just a second is I've heard nobody bring up the fact that probably the best couple in this series was the black the black main character and a redheaded Caucasian female. So I guess the whole racism thing goes out the window unless we complain about it, but nobody did because it's not a problem, right?
Right. Yes.
In fact, let me bring up my notes. So this is what I had said to Boomer in our talk back and forth. I want to reference this whole woke sensitivity, but people are acting like the revelation that this character is gay is some big shock. It's been obvious for the past 3 seasons, maybe more. But again, as I was saying, these characters started out as children. You don't want to think about them having any particular predilection because they don't. You don't until you get old enough to start understanding your own sexuality, which is an important point for this character. He kind of brings that up when his buddy says to him, "I'm sorry, I didn't know you were struggling with this thing. I had no idea." And he goes, "Of course you didn't have an idea. I didn't know myself." Because that's real. That's how people really do deal with this kind of stuff, right? It's been obvious for the past 3 seasons. I really expected him to tell everyone I'm gay, and everyone, including his mom, to say, "Yeah, and we know, everyone knows." The big problem that a lot of people are having, and I know you haven't gotten to this point yet, Boomer.
I heard about the scene though, and it has to do with
a big
the
end of the world. Well, I think everybody knows that that's what's happening in this season. End of the world situation where everyone needs to, fight the fight, right? Walk through the fire, all that kind of stuff. And they stop for a coming out, expression. I understand why, but they spent way too much time on it when lives are at stake. Let me get to that point. Again, I think, and again, this is going back to my notes. I think the stranger thing nobody talks about because they're so upset about their pet issue is that the show gets something right that so many other shows are getting wrong, and that's compelling characters and storytelling. All the characters are great, but my favorite is Max, played by Sadie Sink, who honestly, they all did an incredible job this season, but she's got some emotional beats that are just friggin' amazing, and I think she's going to do great things going forward. She has been through trauma. That's why in season 4, Vecna targeted her with her parents getting divorced, and then a new stepdad and stepbrother who suck. They both make her life a nightmare.
Can I defend her stepbrother?
I'm about to.
Okay.
But then she starts to finally understand why Billy is such a jerk to her.
Yes.
And then she loses him in season 3.
Yes.
And then in season 2, she didn't have to say, "I'm going to just accept all this danger and insanity." She could have just stayed on her island running up that hill. But in season 4, she has to deal with Vecna and Demodogs and Demogorgons. She's always felt like a loner and an outsider to the rest of the group and to the rest of the world. So where does that leave her in season 5? The only person that really understands her is Lucas, and he doesn't make her feel like an outsider. They really are the best couple in the show. But I want to go back to that one thing I said. Vecna targeted her with her parents getting divorced.
Right.
This is some real Emperor Palpatine poltergeist type stuff. It knows what scares you. Freddy Krueger, right? Going into your mind, knowing what your insecurities are, what your secrets are. How can I emotionally manipulate you? How could I what people who cut dogs' hair do?
Dog groomers.
I didn't want to say that word, but thank you. What some people do to the highly influential, like the young, right? Mm. They use cult tactics against you. And we see that so well this season. And it's not just the kids. Every mind that Vecna goes into, he finds what their insecurities are, sometimes using a little bit of truth, but he's unreliable. He's going to, even when he uses the truth, he's using it in a deceptive way. And he plays some people like a fiddle. And some of those are the children that he abducts in this season and the children that he had previously abducted. But you know what happens in a great adventure story, the victims turn things around, they fight back, and you're cheering by the end. Of course, you're also crying by the end, and I'm not going to go into any more specifics about that, but I could go into each individual character who Vecna is able to have direct mental contact with and say, this is what the trauma is that he goes after. And then you get to see a little bit of Vecna's trauma too. And you start to go, oh no, here we go. They're going to make the sympathetic villain. I think I even said that, didn't I? Oh, here you go. They're now going to make the villain the sympathetic character. I was wrong. He is, you know, he could have, this said to me, yes, everybody has trauma and you have to be understanding, but it's what you do with that matters. And all of these characters that you loved figure it out, accept themselves, demand that others accept them, you know, deal with their baggage and do what needs to be done. The bad guy refused. He made the opposite choice. He made the choice of, you know, you're all coming down with me. I don't care. He chose evil. You know,
Vecna, of course, is a D&D reference too, right? To an old D&D villain.
Yeah, they take all of these. So there's all this Lovecraftian elements to this alternate universe type situation. We get a lot more of this cosmology in this season. And the kids, the only reason they're able to rationalize it and understand it is because they play Dungeons and Dragons. So they're able to find corollaries. They're not perfect corollaries, but I'm looking at this going, and then this might be considered a minor spoiler, but the closing credits of the last episode uses graphics in the closing credits that make it look like you're reading through a Dungeons and Dragons player's manual or a Dungeon Master guide or something, but it's a role-playing game about Stranger Things and these characters. I encourage you, when you get to that point, pay very close attention to it. But there's Easter eggs in there that gamers, tabletop gamers, are going to just really squeal about. It's like, ooh, yeah, I see what they're doing there. Making you wish that there was like a Stranger Things role-playing game. I don't know. Maybe there is one out there that I don't even know about. But if there isn't, there should be. And I don't mean the Dungeons and Dragons games that I've seen coming out that are wrapped in the imagery of Stranger Things. That's really all that it is. Stranger Things to be played in that setting would be kind of brilliant. Anyway, I may have spent too much time on this, but
it's your winner of the year. This is your big one.
This is pretty much my winner of the year. And I just saw the last episode like 2 days ago or whenever it was that it came out.
Yeah, because it aired recently, right? That's why we're trying not to do any spoilers in the chat if you have seen it.
I want to go back and make sure I hit the comments that people are saying about this. I want to first say hi to Nate. I didn't say hi to you earlier. Enigma says there's a good YouTube channel called The Quartering. He has some great news and updates. Stranger Things and the gay episode hit rock bottom of approval. Okay. So take heart. A lot of fans are not thrilled. And this was another good point I wanted to get to. It was clunky. It was even people that are saying the same thing I am the gay thing didn't really matter that much. But the problem is you stopped and you put it in a place that
It ruined the pacing, you're saying.
it
That
really
was
did
more
ruin
about
the
a
pacing.
thing.
You
Yeah,
know,
okay.
it's like you're in combat, right? And the bullets are flying over, and you're sinking down in the foxhole, and you're like, look, I got to tell you something. Obviously, you think it's going to be, I think they're coming from the other way, or I heard something, or I got some intelligence. No, I got to tell you that I'm gay.
This be the joke where
Don't
we got to
care.
talk about this
Now's
now.
not the time, right?
It's like,
But I understood what they were trying to say. This is what was being used in his head
the
against him.
Vecna thing. Yeah.
All your friends are going to hate you because you're gay. You've got to hide this.
Which,
and
to be fair, back in the 80s, that was
and if
real
you
big.
try to fight me, I'm going to tell them all. And he's literally, mentally blackmailing him. So he had to do this so that Vecna couldn't have anything over him anymore. But it's probably something that should have happened earlier in the season, not at the point that it did, and I think a lot of people have commented on that. But when you consider that so much else about this show has been so good and enjoyable, yeah, there were some pacing issues. I will say one other thing about the pacing of the last episode. I swear to you, it feels like the end of Lord of the Rings. That might have been intentional, given the Dungeons and Dragons parallels, but this extended epilogue that goes on and on and on. And Netter was like, how much more is there? I'm like, there's still a half hour left. And she's like, what more story is there? It's done.
Yeah, there are several points where it's like, okay, they could end it right here and
Yeah.
it's fine.
But I said the same thing about Lord of the Rings, yeah.
Right, but I think I noted at least 4 different spots where it's like, they could just end it right here and it's perfect. But that kept going and going. It's
Yeah.
like, oh my goodness.
I said Lord of the Rings, but I meant Return of the King. FNT broke down the last episode. Critical Drinker had me laughing with some of his comments. I haven't watched it, so because I wanted to give my own authentic opinion of it before I started listening to other people. Beauty of America, we can like what we like. I checked out Stranger Things episode 4 in the first season, but I'm a huge fan of Hugh Bowles' Blood Rain trilogy. So yeah, like what you like. I don't know what the reference is there, but
it's Ubal made questionable movie adaptations of video games that had that people claimed he did to get tax write-offs, German tax write-offs, just by making these really bad movies. I mean, I don't know if, it's a whole, that'll be a subject for another night. Yeah. Okay.
Robert's Infinite Realms says Stranger Things, very mid finale, but at least it was good for a while. Well, and it's a finale, right? At least they finished it, which is more than a lot of these streaming shows can say. Honestly, I feel like it was an ending that was earned. Like I said, which is more than I think a lot can say. Steve is the bravest ever. He has been trying to rebound ever since season 1 and has officially been a parent to everyone. Loves Steve, but not like Will's love. There was a joke like that too. Like, there was a couple of what you'd consider gay jokes. If you've ever had a friend who was gay and you joked around with them, there was a couple of those kinds of jokes where you say something and then I remember the buddy is saying to Will, he's like, oh man, I'm sorry, that came out wrong. Oh my gosh, that came out wrong. No, I don't mean came out. He's like, would you relax, calm down? I'm wondering how Stranger Things got around copyright with Vecna. Hasbro genuinely gets up. I'm pretty sure there was a licensing deal there because there was
TSR probably, yeah.
There was product placement.
Or Wizards, I should say.
There was specifically Stranger Things themed box sets that came out with a little miniature of the Demogorgon from this, not the Demogorgon from D&D, and their sales every season. When this comes out, the sales for D&D have spiked In fact, there's a lot of people in the gaming community that credit a version 5 of D&D, its entire success, to this show specifically. Hasbro upped the Vecna-related items after season 4, so maybe that's part of it. Yeah, that I don't blame them. I would too. Vecna is a very different character. The Demogorgon is a very different creature than this. People just kind of need to learn a very different lore.
Well, they do a little campaign at the beginning of season 4 where they're fighting Vecna, which you would have done back in the day playing D&D. I think there was a module called Vecna Lives, which maybe that's what that was taken from. Yeah.
Trauma creates heroes, but trauma also creates villains. The difference is heroes get hurt and they want to prevent others from getting hurt. Villains get hurt and they want the world to feel their pain. That is exactly the whole story of the last episode of this. Well, I guess you could argue it's the whole story of Stranger Things. That really is the whole thing. And Delia seems evil or evil. Yeah. Penny hasn't seen this series. If you don't have Netflix or take advantage of alternate means, you probably wouldn't have seen it. And here's the other problem: because it's a Netflix thing, there's only the first 2 seasons available officially on physical media. So
unless that's changed, but last time I checked, it was just the first 2, and you could only buy them through Target. And I don't know if they ever fixed that later on, but I don't think they have. So I don't know.
Will's Random Thoughts says, Section 31, Biggest Loser. Spoilers, dude. It's on my list.
No, it is.
Yeah, we're getting there. And I think I am caught up on the comments. So let's
move on.
Let's put this one to bed. The point is, I enjoyed it. Netter, am I speaking out of turn for you? You enjoyed it too, right?
Yes, I did. There were some parts that were like, oh, that was really, really clever. I don't want to say anything about what those things were.
Exactly.
But just some twists in the final episode that were like, that was clever. Oh. That was really clever.
And now that we've gotten through that, my belly's getting kind of warm. So now I can feel a little bit more relaxed and kind of let go with what I have to say.
Pick number 2 is Fallout. Now, I can't attack you for this, but part of me is like, it's still on. Season 2 is still happening, but at the same time, it did start technically in 2025, so you can count it. Yes.
Yes, and
because you've liked it so far, because of course the other season was in 2024, the first season. Yes.
And I don't want to call out Netter. She just had some computer problems, and so now, unfortunately, you're seeing the Italian mustache thing happening, and she's wearing my boater. But that's okay. I love her.
I want to point out something because I just noticed this too. Gorilla's Random Thoughts had Boomer going a little overboard on that. Has to be subscribed for 6 weeks. Because it says only channel subscribers of 6 weeks or longer get sent
is that what you did? Yeah. You hit weeks instead of minutes.
Oh, crap. You're right. I'm sorry.
Oh, well.
I got to fix it. I'll
fix it. You can't change it.
What? I'll change it right now. Hold on. Let me get
that is funny. But
I meant to do years, but anyway. Okay. Sorry.
So let me say this about oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So I gotta do a pause. We're gonna let's back up to Christmas for a moment. Okay. Little happy Christmas news here. Tony from Analog Toys stops in to say, I just opened your amazing gift box. Thank you so much. So much, mate. I emailed you a link to the video. I will check it out. I mean, if it's unless it's a private video, I probably would have seen it anyway because I'm a member. But that's perfectly fine. So that's
Right.
$20 Australian. They're called dollars in Australia, right? Yeah. $20 Australian. Thank you so much. That was incredibly generous of you. Tony also gifted a whole bunch of you people memberships last week. By the way, Tony, again, thank you for that. I did hit my goal. We did pass 100 members, not before New Year's Eve, but today, in fact. We passed the 100 mark, so thank you so much. And yes, I think I know you well enough to know I could imagine what your face looks like and how you react to this package. I'm eager to see it.
What I want to know is, was the package banged up at all, like the outer
We
box?
were concerned, Tony,
because they were bouncing it all over the U.S. before it finally started on its way to Australia.
We had to send it to Port Hedland, Australia. It actually went to Port
like Headley, Washington.
Port Headley, Washington,
because they
can't read the address, and so it sat there in Washington State
for a week.
For a week before they put it on a boat to send it overseas.
No, before they sent it to Los Angeles.
Oh yeah.
To then fly it to Australia. And it's like, oh my goodness.
And there was eventually a point I knew it wasn't going to make it by
I'm hoping
Christmas.
that the box wasn't all mangled and all that because of it just being, it was totally fine when it arrived. Awesome,
I'm glad to hear that. I knew Netter had wrapped it well, but the packaging was part of it, so
yeah, it's
good.
I usually package really good, but sometimes, I mean, even I can't do anything about somebody playing football with a package.
That is sweet of you, Tony. Thank you so much. Yes, I've been very eager. That we talk about the fact that Christmas is about, it's about giving, not receiving. And it's so much more fun to receive the reaction of somebody really excited about a gift. The gift that I gave you, Tony, those things take a lot of time. So, and between that and making content here and whatnot, I wasn't able to get, for example, Michael's very similar gift done. I had done one for him last year, which I think you saw. So I'll get caught up. I will get caught up. And we are completely off base. I know you want to get me back on track.
No, I also want to tell Geek Flag, you may also comment now if you so desire on my channel. It's fixed. Okay, but...
Well, why weren't you subscribed? Why weren't you subscribed?
It's just 6 years. I thought it meant at least 6 weeks. I didn't mean 6 weeks or less. I thought it was 6 weeks or more. Anyway, here we are, Fallout. You've liked it so far, I take it. The current season.
Yes. So
season 2.
So let's face it. It's only been a season and a handful of episodes, but I've liked where they have gone with this. Full disclosure, have not played the games until just now, just this week, after watching. What are we on, the second or third episode of the season? We've been talking, and I've been watching a bunch of lore videos, gamers that have played these games, talking about Easter eggs from this show and the alternate history of this world and so forth. And what people like about the show and what they don't like, because it doesn't match up with what they, believe about the games and so forth. Another element of it is these games, you have multiple story paths that you could take, which could have huge impacts on the world around you. So in order for there to be a canonical story, it may or may not match up with what you did in the game. I think the showrunners are trying to do their best to either imagine amalgamations of events that could fit different game paths, or, just, having to make their own choices, and people aren't happy about that, whatever. But as somebody who's never played the games before, really enjoying this show. Here's another one where they really get the storytelling done well. they really make you care about these characters. Ironically, the young lady here, very attractive girl, super, peppy, unrealistically, goody goody, I guess is the only way to put it.
The environment she was raised in.
Right. And this whole world is a retrofuturism where, although
That's the actress's name, by the way.
yes, although it's set in the future, it's a future with an alternate history that the world still looks like it's 1950s Cold War type of thing. So you have the music and the style, and even you look at the cars, it's that very 50s retro style, and yet it's the atomic punk, right? Where you have a lot less well, you absolutely still have gasoline, but you have a nuclear fusion and so forth. And anyway, the point being,
No, I'm just saying I used to watch the show Mad Men, and I would have loved it if the character of Don Draper could have somehow ended up in this future, because this was his nightmare. They never said it on Mad Men, but he was you could always tell he was terrified of the nuclear stuff. So this would be like his nightmare environment to be in.
That's very it. And this is a post-nuclear
way and age. Yes.
And of course you're in survival mode. You're trying to you're oftentimes on missions and so forth, but you're also trying to survive, collecting real world type weapons as well as futuristic, retro futuristic type.
There are all sorts of creatures out there.
Mutations and stuff, and without getting too much into the lore. Now, so I was just saying that this girl, the character's name is Lucy. She's the unrealistically goody type of character that
okie
dokie. Yeah, you wanna, and she doesn't like when people use bad language and stuff like that. And you got to be nice, but she's naive to the point of stupidity, and it got really frustrating this season. And something really bad should have happened to her. And I feel like the writers of the show decided maybe that's going a bit far. So instead of doing that to her, she was crucified.
Wow.
So,
wow, that doesn't.
Crucifixion in this case was a better option than what probably was supposed to have happened to her. The other character here is a very, very interesting character. They call him the Ghoul. But ghouls are these irradiated beings that become effectively immortal, but they end up looking like the Red Skull, right? They're and then
Plus they get cravings.
Well, in order to stay alive, they have to consume they have to eat the organs of other ghouls like themselves, so they're kind of cannibalistic in that regard. And
just other ghouls?
That's all that they have to eat, yes.
Okay.
But yes, some of them, the cannibalism thing is a whole separate thing that in the game lore also humans are, we're getting off topic here. Okay. The point is he also has to take a special chemical that is very difficult for him to find and very expensive to prevent himself from going feral. That's something else that can happen to these. Well, yeah. Very much like in Vampire the Masquerade, where the beast takes over, But he is somebody who has been alive for nearly 300 years now. He was there when the bombs dropped, and he's now on a quest for trying to find his wife and daughter. And he doesn't know what's happened to them. I have my suspicions, but there haven't been a lot of clues just yet. He has become a very jaded character. He started out a lot like Lucy here. he was the guy, that you see in all the ads with the thumbs up.
Well, he was a veteran too, right?
And he was a veteran, and he was a real true believer in the American way and all that kind of stuff. Became very disillusioned, and when he saw us leading up to this apocalyptic war, he started questioning the way I think everyone would the everything that he took for granted. Fallout is steampunk, just like steampunk is usually an alternate Victorian history. Fallout is
Atomic
1950s punk. Alternate history. Yeah, it's more atomic punk than steampunk, but I get what you're saying. It's a form of retrofuturism, but it's a atomic 1950s retrofuturism as opposed to a Victorian steampunk and electricity.
I almost see the 1950s retrofuturism almost better than what we have now, though. But
I know. Well,
for steampunk.
This is something that I have pointed out about, like, for example, just like car design. I think car designs used to have the sweeping Art Deco styles in the front and the fins in the back. They weren't necessary. They were for appeal. And I feel like now they become more function over style. And we have lost, it's almost become brutalist, in its style. And it's like something's been lost. And the car companies have all, and some of these things are even alluded to in the lore of this Fallout, where they those of you that are like my age or older or right around my age might remember cars in the 70s used to have, first, they didn't have air conditioning as a standard feature. That was a luxury feature that you paid extra for. But you also had vent windows. So you had your crank open the main window, but you also had these small triangles of window in the front that you would turn a latch and push out to vent air in. And the reason you don't see those anymore, I think a lot of people think that there's a safety reason for that. It has nothing to do with it. In reality, not having that extra window saved them a couple cents per car. That's why. And so not having fins, that saves money. Not having that extra trim, that saves money. All of these things saves money. And that's why, and then, you look at crumpling cars and they're full of styrofoam and they say that's for safety. And you're like, yeah, I get that. But you know what else was pretty safe? The steel that we used to have surrounding us back in the 70s. Yep. So anyway, but I had no idea that you were actually older than I was, Enigma. So you remember those 70s cars. There you go. And I want to say real quick hi to Tim Hayes. Good to see you, my friend. I want them to bring back the ball chiller vent. But too many ladies were complaining about the chapped lips. Oh, okay. I was fortunate enough to walk to school and home uphill both ways in the freezing snow with holey shoes. Yeah, exactly. But anyway, show that definitely plays fast and loose with science and physics. Radiation clearly works very differently. It works the way 1950s and 60s science fiction had it working.
Like with the giant creatures and stuff, like the giant.
Yeah, where it mutates everything and it usually doesn't kill you. It's likely to kill you. It's still probably going to kill you. But others might become mutated. Others might become ghouls, effectively getting superpowers from being irradiated and so forth. Just this whole idea of surviving nuclear blasts. Even some of the weapons you get in the game are weapons that they did try making in the real world, that just like these tiny nuke launchers, right? Well, guess what? You're gonna die too because you've just been irradiated. The blast didn't kill you, but the radiation's still gonna you're gonna have cancer very, very soon. You know.
Oh.
But yeah, so I'm really enjoying this. So I was getting at the first couple episodes. She does a really stupid, being all high and mighty and not listening to sound advice, only coming to realize I should have listened. And after all of last season, you're like, you'd think she'd have already learned this lesson by now. She hadn't. That's okay. You know, she's slow to learn. Maybe she'll learn now. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Netter's really enjoying it. She was even asking just the other day. Or maybe it was earlier today.
Yeah.
You were like, when's the next one coming out? Sunday? I'm like, no, not till Wednesday. You know, and it's one episode a week, just like it used
And
to.
you
old
know who my
days.
favorite character is?
Who?
Dog meat.
Gubby.
Yep. Dog meat. I was explaining to her that there's a dog meat in every instance of the game. It's not the same dog meat, but there's always a dog meat.
And they're all German Shepherds, apparently.
Well, the last couple have been. The earlier ones, the graphics are too low for me to be
Is the dog on the cover here, I think, in the post?
Yep,
Okay.
that's him on the lower left there. That's
Gotcha.
dog meat.
All right. Cool.
But yeah, I'm loving it. I really am. And the last thing I was going to say about that is it did incentivize me to break down and go into my Steam Deck, or not Steam Deck, but into Steam
account.
and Steam account. And I said I was either going to get Fallout 4 or Fallout New Vegas, and I figured New Vegas kind of makes sense given the setting of this season.
Yes.
And then I saw they had like what do they call it? A bundle pack?
Bundle.
Where you get Fallout New Vegas and all the DLC. And it was like,
Let's pick that
I don't
up.
remember. I don't remember what it was, but it was like the price of a movie these days. And I was like,
It was like $25 or something like that for that one that was all
yeah, but not bad considering all that I was getting. So I'm like,
Do you like the
Hey,
music in the game? It's all the old
Oh, no.
tunes.
That one you got
I
was
do.
the same price as the other one, which was $8.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Then there was this all-inclusive everything one that was like $25-$30.
Yeah.
And Boomer, you really don't want anyone to chat on your channel because now it says 6 years or longer.
What do you mean? As long as they're subscribed, it's not an issue, right?
Only channel subscribers of 6 years or longer can send messages.
What does that mean?
That means they're
darn
not
it!
too-
You know,
they're subscribed.
Geek
You
Flag.
can't comment on his channel until 2032, no matter who you are.
Okay, all right. Never mind. I did that wrong. I'm reading this wrong. Okay.
Girls Random Thoughts said, had to come over here because I haven't known Boomer for 6 years.
For the love of Mike. All right, I will fix it again.
Make it
Channel
like
hasn't
15
even been
minutes.
around for
Yeah.
6
Oh,
years.
for
Make
the
it
love
like
of Mike.
15 minutes.
That is so
This is
funny.
why-
Well, this
okay.
is why we
any
call him Agent
duration.
Boomer.
Any duration. Yay! There
At
we
this
go.
point, it's worth lifting it. Yeah, just for
any
you know.
duration. No, any duration now. Come on, Geek Flag, drop a comment. Anyway, moving on to your next pick. You want to do that?
Apparently,
Yeah.
I have known you for 6 years because I was able to make a comment.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
That's weird.
I'm
So
the
you've been
only
subscribed for at least 6 years. There you go.
It might have been before I actually started to do streams. I think I was still had a channel so I could comment on other people's channels. That's probably how
There
that
you go.
happened.
There you
All
go.
right, moving on to pick number 3.
Boomer's like, come on, Troy, let's get through it. Wednesday.
Adam's Family. What is this?
Yeah. So this is we're now we've just finished the
Jenny
second season
Ortega.
of Wednesday. Yeah, she was great in this. Everyone was great in this. I mean, from what's her name? Catherine Zeta-Jones as Morticia. Who was I'm trying to remember the name of the actress. If you're still here, Big Al, you'll Joanna Lumley. Joanna Lumley plays Grandmama. She was perfect. And a little bit of a lore explanation. They made it very clear that this was the Grandmama from Morticia's side of the family, not the one from the original series that would have been Gomez and Fester's
And
mother or
apparently,
grandmother.
this
or whatever.
grandmama pitted Morticia against her sister.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, this is another one of those ones where you're like, are they actually following the lore here? And I'm going back and I'm looking at, the wiki for the original Addams Family series and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, they're drawing from lore that I'd forgotten about, characters I didn't remember, story elements. I'm like, this is actually pretty good. They gave an origin story for Thing that, yeah, I didn't feel like we needed it, but it didn't really hurt anything. I made a joke. It didn't even do it intentionally. But
there's Thing.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, it's been a really, really good. Okay. So this season, I'm forgetting this character's name. She's introduced as a fan. She's like the fangirl, right? She is trying to emulate Wednesday. She wants to be Wednesday's number one groupie. And Wednesday, of course, doesn't take to that. She's not a joiner. She's a loner. She, thinks it's, but.
And she can turn invisible.
Yes, that's her ability. She's able to turn invisible. So she becomes like a stalker. And again, great story elements here. Great character development. Even characters you don't like, you end up kind of starting to like their character arcs and stories. So some pretty good stuff. She's at this academy. There are kind of shades of like Harry Potterish type stuff, where you have, instead of
Hogwarts,
kind of like Hogwarts, yeah, for special kids or whatever. But they have they're broken up into instead of the houses or whatever being like Slytherin and this and that and so forth, and you're just arbitrarily attributed to them. It has to do with what your peculiarity is. So you might be a vampire, you might be a werewolf, you might be a siren. Gorgons. Yeah, there's how you got the millennial guys that have the knit caps, and carrying around like a skateboard. But the reason he's got the knit hat is because he's got snakes under his hat, and if he takes his hat off, he'll turn you into stone. So he doesn't want to do that.
Oh my goodness!
Gorgons in this world will turn you to stone, but it only lasts for a couple hours. It wears off, but it's still a problem, obviously. And they'll do it to themselves if they see themselves in the mirror. So, like, for example, he goes to take a shower. He takes the towel and hangs it over the mirror so that
he can't see his reflection.
He doesn't see his reflection when he gets out of the shower. Anyway, all very secret societies within the school. They do touch a little bit on the whole. Oh yeah, I'll tell you what. So this is Steve
Buscemi.
Steve Buscemi, who if he looks like Edgar Allan Poe to you, there's a reason for that. I can't remember if he's supposed to be related to Poe, but the school is named after Edgar Allan Poe, and there's a portrait of him in the dean's office and whatnot. And I swear he's channeling that character he played in that show where he comes in, hey, fellow kids, he comes off very, very much like that. It's very, very strange.
Okay.
I got to just say, I really did like this show. I'm going on way too long about this.
No, I need to check it out. I've heard good things about Wednesday. I just haven't.
You haven't seen any of it at all? You didn't see
none of it yet? No. Let me get through Stranger Things first.
Yeah, good point.
All right, but yeah, there we go. Okay, so I guess we're going to go on to me next.
Yep.
Let's see if my picks are
do you feel as passionate about your winners as I did about mine?
I guess. I don't feel passionate about anything this year.
It's hard.
I think I've been jaded, and because I think people think I try to focus on the bad stuff on Geekies. I'm actually not. I'm looking for
we want to be positive. Thing. Yeah.
And I don't know what is with this decade where nothing is getting off the ground.
No, you're absolutely right.
On to pick number one. I'm going to give it to him because he's earned it. Billy Idol.
There you go.
This is Billy Idol's
just
year.
To point out, I was talking about streaming shows because those just happen to have been my pick. But our
Be
topic was
anything.
meant to be all of entertainment, whether it was
Yes.
music, movies, whatever. It could have been comic books or games. It was just whatever you act, because there was only so much we could draw from for
Oh,
2025.
funny man. Age of Boomer is passionate about prohibiting membership interaction. Laugh out loud. You know what? It
He's
makes you
not
want it all
passionate
the
about it. He's
more.
just a boomer. He doesn't know
Okay,
how.
moving on to speaking of boomers. Okay, Billy
Yeah.
Idol, kicking butt at how old? I don't know, but he did a tour. It's a nice day to tour again. Remember that whole thing with and I went to see one of his concerts, and it was him and Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. They were the opening act, and then he comes out, and it's like this legend from the past, but it's not. He's here now, alive, and
Yeah.
he was just kicking butt on this tour all year. He had a new album come out, which is Dream Into It. They recently made a video based on the concert footage. And I think one of the songs was I Should Be Dead, or maybe that was the name of the documentary. Because there's a documentary. Yeah, there we go. Billy Idol Should Be Dead. He had a documentary come out this year about himself. So that's a 3 for 3. You got an album, a movie, and a tour. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, and I got to tell you, seeing this concert firsthand was amazing. It was probably the funniest moment though was the stage goes dark at some point, and we're wondering, did he leave? And then you hear this voice coming from the mic, and it's him, and he says, "I can't hear you," and people just start screaming "White Wedding." People just start screaming "White Wedding." So of course, "White Wedding" is the song that comes on next. So it was
Yeah.
it was a great time. I got soaked waiting in line because it started pouring, but it didn't matter.
Gosh.
At least it was warm out. So yeah.
Nate says 70 years old.
Yeah.
I know he's had some health problems, but God, you got to give it to him. He's
doing real
not
well.
slowing down. He wants
He's in good
to do,
shape
he
too,
wants
I
to do
think,
it all.
physically
Yeah.
at least. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I also want to get points out too. I'm not. I should really know their names, but the ensemble that was with them, the singers and the guitarists and everyone, they were great too. It was a whole act. It's a great performance from everyone all around, and good time. And like I said, here's to another. Here's to another. I don't know how many years, but let's say 10 years. Another 10 years of Billy Idol kicking butt. Come on. Yeah. Apparently he has a Christmas album. I got to go look for that too.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah. So Billy Idol, always like Billy Idol. Thank you, Connie Cleary. Yeah. So he's my number one this year because I think he's the entertainer of the year, and I'm thinking maybe I got to start looking at more of these bands that are getting back together and going on tours, and maybe looking at that as an entertainment option rather than waiting for Hollywood to get its act together. But my pick number 2. And speaking of shows, which I don't know if Troy is caught up, Cobra Kai had its big finale this year.
I have not
Dude!
seen that season, and I haven't seen the last that movie either.
Well, okay. Karate Kid Legends is not really a follow-up to Cobra Kai. That's the misnomer with that movie. It's really its own story about and Daniel LaRusso's in it, and so is the character from the Jackie Chan character, but they're not the main characters in the movie. They're not even supporting. And to be fair, the main character and the supporting characters in it are also very good. They fit in with the Karate Kid universe. It's just not the ones. It's just not. It's not Daniel LaRusso getting the limelight. He's kind of brought in to help train.
I get it. It's not a sequel. It's just a story that
it's like another story in that
universe.
Yeah. You know who's in it in the Karate Kid Legends is Joshua Jackson from Fringe. He plays this Italian American pizza owner, and he's like he's the father of kind of the daughter the kid has a crush on, right? And what's interesting is this kid, unlike most, I'm not even talking about Cobra Kai, I'm talking about Karate Kid Legends, but he actually knows, kung fu, martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
But for reasons I'm not going to get into here, he had to swear to his mother he would never fight. But the thing is, he's so good at martial arts, he's actually teaching Joshua Jackson how to fight so he could win these prize fights he's doing.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a reverse where you have the older guy is actually learning for the younger kid how to be a better fighter. It's an interesting movie. I would give it a solid B, maybe B plus. Okay, but I'm not here to talk about. I'm here to talk about Cobra Kai.
Right.
This is the big finale. I'm not going to get too much into detail on this, as I want you to watch this and watch the whole season from beginning to end. I gave it my number one last year, even though it was partially done through the season, but it left on a cliffhanger, which reminded me of one of the best. Remember the end of season 2 when everything could go wrong goes wrong in that last episode.
Yeah,
they did another thing like that in the mid-season cliffhanger of the show. I'm not going to get into it.
Okay.
But then they bring it back. The ending was satisfying. Johnny Lawrence gets his moment. That's all I'm going to say. I don't want to give anything more away on this, but this whole series has been the redemption of Johnny Lawrence. The school bully. I mean, I won't go as far to say he's the villain of Karate Kid, because he's, again, even Mr. Miyagi pointed out. I not bad student, bad teacher. He was
exactly.
Mr. Miyagi pointed that out.
That became very clear, and then of course, this series kind of does key into something that fans have been saying for a long time. You know, Daniel LaRusso is kind of a dick too. He pulled some stuff that, you know, should have gotten him beat up. You know,
I think both are, and
yes,
you know, let's not split hairs. You know that they're going to be friends by the end of the series. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. Look at them here. See, I
think this is awesome. This is awesome. If you told me back in the 80s that come 2020 something, you know, this would be happening with these characters, I'd have said, "Hey, you're full of it." This is great. This is great stuff.
And also not to ignore the younger cast members too of this show too. Right. They had great storylines. Things.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I don't want to get too into it because you know, this whole season it goes international. They're not going up against like other dojos in the United States. They're going up against other dojos throughout the world. Do you understand? Because it's a world karate tournament they get into, and of course there are other. There might be things out there worse than Cobra Kai. Okay, you know. So but yeah, I don't want to say anything more about this, but that's kind of a moment in the show. Okay, that's Johnny Lawrence triumphant, and I'm not going to say anything else. I probably spoiled too much as it is if you've not seen it. But enjoyed it a lot. Of course, my prediction about the martial hero becoming the big thing for 2025. I guess it did not really come true. Because Karate Kid Legends did okay. It didn't do great. I don't think it cost a ton to make, though. I think it's fine as a one-off movie too. If they never do a sequel, it's fine. It could just be.
I think one thing that kind of hurt Cobra Kai, and this is just the fact of streaming, is again you got a limited audience because not everyone's going to be able to subscribe to this particular streaming, and this one actually has moved from streaming service to streaming service.
On YouTube originally, and then it moved to Netflix. Netflix saved it actually.
True.
And unlike other Netflix shows, though, Sony owns this, so it does get DVD releases. So I don't know if they've released the whole thing yet, but I know that they released a number of the older seasons on DVD. So so maybe they'll finally release this whole thing, maybe in a set too. You never know. But stuck the landing. I'll say this. I don't know if we're ever going to get anything more in this universe, but if we don't, I think it ends on a high note, so I'm fine. Yeah. So, okay. So, Cobra Kai,
I can get behind that.
Might be my favorite TV show of this decade.
And you can't give me any grief for not having seen it yet, because you haven't seen Fallout or Stranger Things.
Fallout, I watched season 1. In my defense, I've seen season 1 Fallout.
Fair enough.
And
I will. Troy is probably interested in watching Cobra Kai. I have no interest. I lost interest a long time ago in it. To me, it just got stupid.
I do think there is a little bit of a male-female thing maybe going on with these kinds of shows.
I gave it a chance, and I watched every season up to this last one with you.
Yeah.
But it just got to a point where it's like, this is getting really dumb.
I was glad
they're fighting for fighting's sake.
I was glad they brought Elizabeth Shue back to kind of.
They are fighting for honor. Okay, they're fighting. No, I'll just anyway. everyone ends up on top. Okay, that's all I'm gonna. I don't
Yeah.
want to say anything more about this show. I enjoyed it. Um, and I'll say this: even if we don't see another one, I'd like to see these actors show up in other shows and properties. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
for all I know, I'd like to see Ralph Macchio and name escapes me who plays Johnny Lawrence,
Lawrence, yeah.
but I'd like to see them, like, maybe he could be the older guy in charge of the Knight Rider thing, like they were,
That would be kind of cool. Yeah. that'd
just
be
have
kinda
him
cool.
show up on that as
Yeah.
a different character. I'd like to see that. So, uh, really enjoyed it though. My number 2 of the year.
Actually, wait. Daniel LaRusso sells cars. Maybe he sells the car to Knight Industries that they turn into the AI car.
Yes. Anyway, and now my final pick for number 3.
Yep.
And it's actually a game this time. And I, this is sort of a defense of this game because I feel like I don't know if it's the interweb out there or maybe it's the professional journey. People are very mixed on this game, and I don't know why, because it's exactly what I wanted. Terminator 2D No Fate.
Okay.
This is a game based on Terminator 2. Remember that movie?
Sure.
It got a late release this year. It only came out like December 12th. Guys, you said that you were going to have this thing out by September. Trouble was
Yeah.
they were creating a physical edition of the game, and they were trying to get all the swag that goes in the physical edition, because you get the game, but you also get a replica of the token that John Connor used in the arcade in the game. You get like a
Oh,
little
yeah,
dog
yeah.
poster. You get a couple of freebies in the box with the game. Now,
Nice.
you can buy it physically for $59.99, and before everybody balks at that price, that's what this game would have cost you back during the Super Nintendo era. And this
That
game
is true, yeah.
and this game is a throwback to the games of that era. If you buy it digitally, it's only $29.99, or you could wait for it to go on sale, which will probably be less. But this isn't one of these things where people argue, is it good because of the license? Like, if it didn't have a Terminator license next to it, would it be a good game? I'm thinking back to the days of the Super Nintendo when I got games like Batman Returns, which was an excellent game to movie to game where it actually kind of basically adapted the whole movie in a game form.
Yeah.
And that's sort of what this does. And because we kind of got not so great Terminator games on the Super
Yeah.
Nintendo and Sega Genesis back in the day. You have future segments where you're playing as John Connor fighting the resistance against machines.
Wow.
And they actually have some of them, I think, are models used in the movie. I think some were like prototype things that they were thinking about doing in the movie. They didn't. They threw them into the game. All right,
Interesting.
and it's like a Contra type level here. There's a level where you're playing as the T-800, all naked after he shows up in the bar. Remember the bar in the movie?
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
playing the country song in the background. You remember the country song?
Wow.
If you bang someone into the jukebox, it switches over to Bad to the Bone, and they license the music. That's another thing. They have to
Wow.
license all the music for this game too. Everything's licensed. That's part of the reason why it costs a little bit of money.
Yeah. You're paying for the license on all of that. Yeah.
I'm a big fan of this game. It is everything except for Arnold's license. I like this. They couldn't get him. It's funny when they show a picture of the T-800 up close. They show it without the face, like with the
Right.
with the cyborg underneath instead of just
Right.
Arnold. But everyone else, they got Linda Hamilton's picture in here.
Nice.
Robert Patrick as T-1000's in here. Eddie Furlong's John Connor. And you get to play as all these different characters in the game. Like, there's a level in the beginning where you remember how she got sent to the institution because he tried infiltrating Skynet.
Right.
And get proof of what they were up to. You actually get to play that level out where she's going
Wow.
to Skynet and trying to get evidence that they're working on Terminator, working on this stuff, and of course you end up getting sent to the asylum. And that it's just a really cool throwback to old school 16-bit 2D game. Obviously, doing things that maybe even the Super Nintendo couldn't do because it's modern technology. But
Sure.
I know Michael from Retro Blasting did a whole thing on movie games on his
Yes.
channel. Michael, you need to
Yes.
look into getting this, and you can get it physically. That's another thing too. If you own a PlayStation 4, a PlayStation 5, any of the Xbox, either Xbox One or Xbox Series or Nintendo Switch, it's available on everything physically. So
Yeah.
if you want to have a physical copy, because I know some people complain, I want my physical game, they have it. And you get some swag in the box with the game too. Sorry, I'm defending this game. I think it was a great
Okay,
release. It's
that's
a
fine.
throwback to these old school licensed games that were done well back in the day. So yeah, okay, that's it.
Good.
Okay,
No, it looks great. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and it's just neat being able to play as all these different characters. And apparently, I hear once you beat the game, you can play versions of the game with branching paths. Like, what if while John and the T-800 were trying to rescue Sarah from the institution, that she gets killed by the T-1000? How would the game? How would the plot of the movie then change? It does you gives you all
Wow.
these different scenarios to do, and I think it's neat. It's neat. That's why I'm putting it on here. So yeah, that's
That
my
is cool.
top three,
Yeah.
and I did want to give a shout out to Bitmap Bureau. They're a group of very talented indie British developers who uh, really must have loved this franchise and put a lot of effort into this, and I think we have to give them points. Because, like I said, sometimes the fans are making the best stuff, and this is an example of the
Mhm.
fans actually getting the license
Agreed.
and going forward and getting this published. So good on them.
I just like how such a low resolution can still show off those guns of hers.
Yeah. Well, it looks
Not to
like a
mention the
game.
firearms.
Yeah, well, it looks like a game that would be on the Super Nintendo, but I think it's
Mhm.
a little better than what you would have seen on the Super. I mean, the Super Nintendo
Yeah.
games look great even by modern standards,
There's
but
probably more shades of color here than you could have gotten back
maybe,
then. Yeah.
maybe Super Nintendo could do color though. It was the Genesis that was more limited on the color front.
True.
Now we got to get into losers. Okay.
Yeah, we've been all positive, happy, pappy.
Yeah.
Now we got to get down to earth and
Okay.
grumpy.
Let's move into this. Pick one.
What did I pick? Oh God. Oh God.
Star Trek Strange New Worlds. This is from the Vulcan episode where they all become Vulcans because apparently on Star Trek Strange New Worlds there's a serum you can take that turns you into any alien race, which makes no sense to me whatsoever. But
This
hey,
makes as much sense as the government doing an experiment to come up with a chemical to spray on the enemy to make them gay. This is real world, something they seriously were trying to do. And they decided that sounds so brilliant.
it only ended up making the frogs gay. I understand.
Right,
I'm sorry,
exactly.
I shouldn't even bring that up on here.
Let me instead do a story where we will genetically alter you and somehow make you Vulcan. This is they have so much contempt for sci-fi that they would actually do something this stupid. Because think this through. What if the story wasn't about Vulcans? What if they were trying to alter people to make them black, right? And then now suddenly you have all these actors in blackface. How would that go over? Basically, this is an episode about Vulcan face.
Well, what I also found interesting about this is once they all turn Vulcan, they all start thinking logically. And of course, if you watch Star Trek and know stuff about the lore, you know that Vulcans are not do not logic
It's
is a
not a
practice they
natural
do.
condition
It's
for them.
not part of their conditioning. It's something they practice. It's kind of like for instance, Mr. Spock once when on that TNG crossover actually made a point that your Captain Picard has a level, I guess, of stoicism or something that most Vulcans dream of achieving because a
Aspire
person
to
can
all
be
their lives.
yes, and
And in fact, you see it in the whole concept of Kolin-R and so forth, where you have Spock learning to be logical, learning to suppress his memories. He talks about going through Ponfar and how there is this chemical imbalance that strips away your ability to suppress your emotions. And he actually uses the term suppress your emotions. Real quick, I want to say hi to the Peter Venkman fan site. Peter Venkman's girl. Welcome, welcome. Yes, we are on the losers of 2025 here. So yeah, it displays a complete lack of understanding of the lore of this universe, the characters in this universe. And this is me going back to what I started out with when I was talking about Stranger Things and that bloke on X who was talking about how these millennials feel like they have to make fun of and lampoon the
Well,
IP that they're working on because they don't take it seriously and they're embarrassed by it. That's what this show is.
well, we've also learned that, at least as far as millennials have been concerned, they weren't necessarily hiring for the best writers at these studios. But that's a good
Well,
topic for
there is
another time.
there is that too, but the regardless of the reasons and the whys, this one just, oh god.
Go
I
ahead.
almost felt like this. Okay, so this guy here in green is supposed to be Kirk.
Yeah.
And this is stupid and ridiculous, and the way they depict him, I felt was a poke and a jab at
William Shatner.
no, I wasn't even thinking, well, yes, you're probably right. I didn't
Gene
think of it that
Roddenberry.
way. I thought they were taking a poke at James Crawley, the fan who played Kirk, who also happened to have been an Elvis impersonator. So he looked a
Oh,
lot
they
like.
they might have been doing. I think they might have been attacking everybody because I
Yes,
know that Shatner saw this and Shatner did a reaction to this and said, "No, he's
and
getting this
he was
all
pretty
wrong."
offended.
Like I
He was pretty
understand
offended, yeah.
because, of course, Shatner was. I never thought Shatner's bad as Kirk. I know sometimes maybe some of his lines are delivered more theatrically than maybe people are used to, but that's sort of how it was at the time, and it's just I I this is how they see original Star Trek on this show. They
Yeah.
see it as a
Yes.
ridiculous thing to be embarrassed of, and that's just what I saw this as. And frankly, I think they should be ashamed, especially after Shatner
They
saw
have no
this.
shame.
Yes.
They completely lack the ability to be ashamed of anything. My worst fic, I'm assuming you mean like fan fiction, was better than current Trek. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And you know, I've talked about how Netter and I met through a Star Trek role playing group. The role playing stories I came up with are better than what they do in these shows now.
Yeah, I mean, and that was just kind of like, here's a scene. Where's your
Lay it
character
out.
doing? Yeah,
Yeah.
where's your character doing in this? And we came up with better Star Trek episodes than these guys.
They also keep
Jay and
doing.
Leanne, have not seen you in a long time. How is everybody?
Yes,
I
Leanna,
hope you
how
guys
are
are doing
you?
well. I hope you are doing well. I really do. Let us know. Yeah,
I
this
have been
is
praying for you so much. It's like I'm really hoping that you're okay. You're back home. You're healed. Please let us know.
this is fake autistic Spock and the Uhura that never. No, this isn't Uhura.
This
Who
is,
is
I guess, that she Khan's descendant because she has his name, so I assume she was
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
And
and somehow related to Khan, which also doesn't make any lick of sense in the canon of Star Trek. So
but they were playing up a lot of the romance this season. I was reading actual professional critics who were actually kinder to the first two seasons of this than we were. They did not like this latest season. They said it's focusing too much on all this romance stuff. It's just
yeah,
they like apparently this was a dance episode. Is that right?
I have no idea. I didn't really watch the show. I saw a couple episodes and said I just can't. I cannot. My time is worth too much to invest in this. Just seeing the screenshot is traumatic. Yes, I understand. I got home on Christmas Day. Well, that's a wonderful gift. I'm so glad that you did finally.
We have two more seasons of Strange New Worlds. I keep wanting to say Stranger Things.
Yeah, because unfortunately, you have to understand this has nothing to do with ratings. They contract these things and they're locked in and they're being made, and they're gonna release them. They have it's just you can't stop the moving train. But it is looking more and more like Kurtzman is not going to be renewed. And I'm telling you, this isn't fan wishfulness. This isn't, like, oh, Kathleen Kennedy's really going to get fired now. Now she's really going to get fired, and they're going to use the world between worlds to reset Star Wars. No, you have to understand the way the licensing works. If Kurtzman is not recontracted by Paramount, that decanonizes all of the Kurtzman Trek that they've done necessarily. You forget, Troy, netters, boomers, you have lived experience, unlike the DEI writing rooms that cook this.
You know
Yeah,
what's weird? I do not consider myself someone who has a ton of lived experience, but when I talk to people younger than me, I realize that I do
you
have a
do.
lot
Yeah.
more because I think people are increasingly more sheltered and they're
Yes,
staying
they
online
are.
more. Like
Well, when you live with your parents until you're 45 years old,
yes.
just saying.
Well, some
No,
versus stuff.
no, I should.
It's okay.
There's a difference because
I
you
did
put,
break out for a bit, then I got boomerang back home. But go ahead, go
but
ahead.
you're also contributing to your family. See,
Oh yes,
there
well
was
you have to.
always,
Well, you have to.
you know,
Especially as your folks get older, you got to be the
so
one
I was just
carrying
going to
this.
say,
Yeah.
so many generations have lived with their parents, or their parents lived with them. Either way, it was a way of caring for your parents. That's not what I'm talking about.
I
I'm
understand.
talking
Yes.
about someone who has never contributed, who spends all their time playing games, sitting on the couch while, hey mom, what's for dinner? You know, just
No, I,
saying.
I I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I've known people like that.
Yeah, yeah. And Nate points out that they filmed the fourth season and they cut it in half to make a fifth season, probably for contractual reasons. And again, I'm going to say this too. Kurtzman is trying to hold on to Trek for as long as he can.
They have
So
threatened. They're
anything he
like,
can do.
hey
Go ahead.
guys, we already have the sets and everything else. Why don't we just do Star Trek proper for real now? And I guess what would the idea be? He would just redo all the episodes of the original series, but with the new actors,
That's what he
and maybe
wants.
putting their own spin on them.
That's what he wants. But Paramount knows that that's a non-starter. They know that's a non-starter. 2 decades overseas is a perspective, but can't really talk on life stateside when the society unraveled into the DEI garbage. Yeah, I hear you.
Anyway,
Yeah, Russell T Davies on Doctor Who. That's well, put a pin in that, Vinkman's girl. We'll get to that.
yes. So what is next? What is Troy's pick number 2? Let's see. Oh, Skeleton Crew. This one surprised me. Now, it did start late last year, but it did end this year, so I think this counts as a 2025 also. But what was wrong with this series? I'm curious. This was a Star Wars, right?
This is another one that I did not actually see,
Okay.
but what I did see of it, and keep in mind, I have a very different perspective on Star Wars, not just whether I like or don't like Disney Star Wars. I'm real into the toys and the marketing. So if I see, like for example, what was the show? Bad Batch.
Yeah, when you
Ahsoka,
said this, I thought, is
stuff
that
like
that
that.
Bad Batch cartoon?
No,
I
no.
forgot that this was the live action, like Goonies kind
This
of
is
knockoff.
basically the Goonies in space, and it doesn't come off as Star Wars at all.
Why?
They're kids that come from a planet that looks like 1980s Earth, is what it looks like.
It looks
It's
like
not
suburbia.
exactly, but it looks like it. And they get pulled through a vortex or whatever to get pulled into the Star Wars galaxy and whatnot. And they're trying to get home. And it's something else with Star Wars slapped on it. It's like what are those? Some of those movies like Flight of the Navigator, Mac and Me. Those movies,
Explorers.
The Explorers, E.T., and like you said, the Goonies. Those 1980s stories about kids in sci-fi adventure type situations.
But I feel like those movies were made because they couldn't do something like Star Wars. But here they have the Star Wars license, so just make a Star Wars thing.
Exactly.
I don't.
Again, it's very clearly people that do not understand Star Wars. Now, I forget who this character was, but
Jude Law is a Jedi.
I don't know if he had.
Seemed to be a ton of Jedis that did not get killed, even
but
though
they inferred that he was a character from the EU. Maybe not. He might have just been using that as an alias. and it just reeks of jangling keys, you know. But the reason I bring this
That's
up,
all
that
Star Wars is jangling keys these days. They never get
these
to the.
days, you're
They
right,
never get to anything. It's always
there
a tease,
are
and
the big most indicting thing about this is we have seen action figures from Bad Batch, from Ahsoka, from even what was that Leslie Headland abortion,
Acolyte.
Acolyte. There's almost nothing from this. And there's not going to be a second season. This was a failure even by their standards. So
Let's see here. And I just picked. I tried picking. I picked clips from episodes that aired this year, so that's what that all is. But
well, yeah,
no one talks
yeah,
about this though, and I think that's an issue with
nobody
a lot
does.
of
Yeah,
Star Wars. No one talks about any of this stuff. Like I think the
well,
most well received thing was Andor. I think, which is the only
which
thing
I
I can
didn't
think
see
of.
either. I've
Yeah,
heard good things. I
yeah.
might eventually end up getting around to it. I've had 2 heart attacks, and my heart stopped completely in less than 2 months. I have to be on heart medication. Yeah, yeah. You
I'm so
take care
sorry,
of
sweetie.
yourself. I totally understand that. He was a former Padawan in the show. I think in certain instances, Acolyte, Rings of Power, you just have hateful people who hated nerds and geeks and wanted to break our toys. That's pretty much it, Curtis.
Yeah, but they want to own the chuds. Well, you've owned the chuds, and now, how are you
And
making
now
money?
you're holding an empty, worthless bag. Is what you've resulted in. All the writers know is how to drag contemporary kids into their verse. That is no way. There is no way they will draw on the EU for life of kids in the Star Wars universe. Yeah, exactly. Because they're not even willing to bother understanding the world that they're writing for, because they have that much contempt. Oh, this is fiction. We can make up whatever the hell we want and call it Star Wars. That really is what they believe and really is what they think. So yeah, but this was a loser across the board. I'd say even more than the Acolyte, because there are no toys. There are just no toys for this.
I think I don't know if it's probably not at the state of being a tax write off yet, but I don't think it's going to be remembered.
Yeah.
And your third pick.
Yep.
I keep forgetting the show exists. There we go. Doctor Who season 2,
Yeah.
not 15 as you said in the notes, because I got a little confused. You realize that when it got rebooted and was on Disney, that they started it over again with the seasons. That this is considered like a fresh Doctor.
Whatever. It isn't even Doctor Who anymore. It really isn't. It ceased to be Doctor Who. Actually, they probably should have cut it off at the end of
Whittaker?
What was that kid's name? No, before him.
Matt Smith?
Before her. Yeah, they should have cut it off at the end of Matt Smith. But if you want to go an extra Doctor, you can get Peter Capaldi in there. But that's it. It's done after that.
But yeah, I keep forgetting he wears a dress on this show too. That's like a denim.
Hey! The one thing I will say here, I don't know who this girl is, but those jeans look pretty good on her.
I don't have a problem with her.
They are. Yeah. I'm assuming she's the companion. She's probably a lesbian. I don't know. But
no, she ended up. Well, I think she ended up having a boyfriend that ended up stalking her, but then he ends up stalking her by getting abducted on this planet. And then he creates an army of robots to go after, because I don't know. It was this weird. I didn't want to. I think it was almost like an incel type of thing, like it was an anti-incel episode. But moving on to, we have the regeneration Ronnie thing going on this season.
It's the stupidest thing I ever heard.
This
regeneration thing.
If I were stuck like rebooting Doctor Who from scratch, I'd be tempted to not even bother bringing regeneration back, because I think it's been so mishandled in recent years that I would go back to maybe because in the original it was him getting a new I don't know. just no. And bi regeneration makes no sense to me. I don't think they've ever bothered explaining it on the show. Maybe they have, for those of you who are
Yeah.
watching it. And yeah, I'm just but they had the Ronnie on this season, and let's see here.
Yeah.
And of course we end with Nakuti Gatwa.
This was the
now
biggest WTF. It was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
The
And
funny-
it makes absolutely zero
The
sense.
funny thing about this, even the staunchest Doctor Who defenders, like the ones that yelled at us during the Whittaker era and everything else, that were screaming at us, when they saw this, they're like, this makes no sense. Like, even they are like, what are they doing now?
Yeah.
I don't think Russell T Davies. I told you what my theory is, though, that she'll end up meeting up with the bi-regeneration tenant, and even though she's a regenerated, it'll somehow be Rose Tyler is now a Time Lord, and then they get to go be Doctor and Companion for all eternity in the other TARDIS, and that'll be how the show ends. Because they think that's what the fans want. That's a theory. Who knows? I'm just trying to think of something extra stupid, and that's probably what they're going to do. But anyway.
Whatever it is, they already have it filmed, don't they? I don't know.
They have a Christmas special film. They're obligated. Disney is still was obligated to film one more Christmas special. So there will be another Doctor Who Christmas special.
Great.
No one knows what's beyond that at this point because they're doing that miniseries. Yeah.
You can look forward to a lump of coal from the BBC yet again. How wonderful. Something to look forward to next year.
I don't think the show would exist without Disney's funding. And Disney's pulling out. And the only other company
they're going to go back to a shoestring budget, just like they did back in the old days.
No, they'll just put it on hiatus for the next 20 years. They can't afford to make the show anymore.
No, yeah.
The last good Christmas special that I remember was the one with the quote unquote Titanic. That one was really good.
Yeah, that was
one where
good.
Kylie Minogue is in it, and then she dies. My dad was not happy about it. I don't think he knew who Kylie Minogue was. Oh, she'd be a really cool companion. Then she dies, and
he's dead. Yeah, he's dead.
Russell T Davies. That's subverting her expectations.
Have you seen the Children in Need special that they did that took place?
Yes.
Yeah, I like that.
Right?
Peter Davison, right? Yeah.
I like Peter Davison. Apparently, they did some short with him recently with him and Tegan, and it was like them going back to the scene of her last episode, which was the resurrection of the Daleks, like the same. And I don't know how they're even explaining that. Does older Peter Davison Doctor, which shouldn't exist, go and find Tegan and they go on a thing together? I don't know. Nothing makes sense anymore on Doctor Who. But
what it comes down to, guys, is this is another one where I have completely disavowed the latter this reboot of Doctor Who, which is why starting Sunday night I will be doing watch parties every week of Doctor Who, starting with the original Doctor. William Hartnell, starting with The Unearthly Child this Sunday.
That originally was not aired because of the Kennedy assassination, as I recall.
That's right. That's right.
There's a lot of history going on when that was coming on.
That's exactly right.
All right. So moving on, I guess this is your last pick. Anything left to say on the state of Doctor Who? Or are you going to watch the...
I will let Peter Venkman's girl get the last word in. There is no Doctor past Capaldi. I agree.
Okay. Moving on to Boomers Losers. Number one at this list is, of course, Warner Media. This Warner Media, I feel, has been a complete train wreck this year.
Yes.
I'm going back. So they've had some very high-profile bombs. These are recent articles too. At least some of them I'm pulling from, not all of them. But like final Mickey 17 box office run to lose Warner $75 million.
Yep.
This is a zombie studio at this point.
Yes, it is.
Zaslav was brought on, which some of us, I think at the time, thought he might bring the studio around. I think what he was done is to try to...
I think if we are honest, we just hoped that he would. I don't think we actually believed he would.
I think Warner Brothers is a dead studio walking at this. It is, because it's being sold. It's
Yeah,
just no
exactly.
longer. It doesn't matter who buys it. The studio itself will cease to exist once it's bought. All right, it'll
Yep.
become absorbed into another company, much in the same way 20th Century Fox was absorbed into Disney. 20th Century Fox does not exist anymore. You keep saying 20th
True.
Century Studios. Oh, it's a separate. No, it's all Disney
It's Disney.
now,
Yep.
and this
It is
will
now
be
Disney.
all of something else soon. But they had some big, high-profile box office bombs. They sort of turned it around with the Minecraft movie, but of course, the Minecraft movie gave us the whole chicken jockey thing. Remember
Yeah.
that with the
Yeah.
theaters getting trashed? And I
Because their audience is the lowest common denominator.
no, the audience is supposed to be children. This is a children's movies, and children
And
still
children
apparently
are
like
supposed to be supervised by responsible adults.
Well, these were teenage boys doing this. If I'm going to be
Yeah.
honest with you, I'll maybe that was the demographic doing this. They went nuts, and I feel like Warner Brothers during the 2020s has been at war with movie theaters, because it seems everything they do is to destroy the movie going experience, like with the whole day and date thing back when Jason Killer was running things. And then even when they have a hit like this is about literally destroying a theater in person.
Yeah.
Let's be honest
Yeah.
here. Letting live chickens loose in the theater and stuff like that. I mean, can you imagine you're taking your kid to see this and then suddenly it turns into a
There's a
free-for-all?
chicken flying at you.
I
Yeah.
know, I'm
My,
just-
my sister bought Mickey 17, saw it once, and gave it to the local library, said Jonathan Conroy.
Sorry. She probably didn't know any better. I mean, and the funny thing about Mickey 17 was it was based on a book. And part of me thinks that the book was probably actually a really well thought out science fiction novel, and they ignored it when they made the movie and just did their own thing, where the villain is based on a certain president currently in office.
It
and the
makes you
people are-
wonder, why are you bothering to pay for a license and to pay the writer when for so much less money you could just do your own movie and not have to pay anyone else?
I don't know. But moving on to and of course we have the threat of a Netflix buyout, which I think is going to be a reality. I don't think Paramount's going to pull it off, because I know Paramount's the other bidder. It would be better for the movie industry and even for Warner Brothers legacy content if Paramount got it, as opposed to Netflix. If Netflix gets it, that's going to be a disaster. And frankly, if Netflix gets it, movie studios, movie theaters, you really have to start
And physical
playing
media
hardball.
will be done.
Well, they need to start playing hardball, because they're coming after them. This is
Yep.
a bomb. This will turn Warner Brothers into a bomb, and the bomb will be theaters, and the bomb might be even other studios. You guys have to. This is Sauron is here.
Yep.
Sony, Lionsgate, Universal, Paramount, even Disney, you guys got to band together and you got to fight against this. Because, of course, what is the latest article here, which I got? This is a recent article. Netflix plans week 17-day theatrical window for Warner Brothers movies. This means, I guess, the remaining Warner Brothers slate. Okay, we'll release it theatrically to you movie theaters for 17 days. That's nothing. That's the audience sees 17 days if they have a Netflix subscription.
So that's 2.5 weeks you'll get it, and that's it.
Yeah,
And then it goes right on to Netflix.
The theater owners need to basically say, you match what the other people do with their streamers, or you go home. We're not going to put your movies in our theaters. You have to put your foot down.
This is a good question. Can theaters pick up local contracts to survive Netflix consuming the legacy studios? Yes and no. So throughout the COOF and even recently, just to stay alive, they have been licensing short runs of old movies. They still have to pay the studios, though, and the studios are still making money off of those, but it's not a great deal for the theaters, because they have to pay so much for them, and they get such a short run on those. Technically, they're re-releases of the film. I don't know how, and at least AMC and Regal and stuff like that are big enough that they actually have some sway in the industry. Your mom and pop ones are just dying.
Forget it.
They're just dying. The best they could do is run like public domain films, Marx Brothers and stuff like that. That's the best they can do to stay alive.
It's it's going to be. I'm going to tell you right now, if there are Warner Brothers movies that you like and you want to have physical copies in your collection, start looking into getting them now. I'm really worried that a lot of stuff is going to be taken off the market if Netflix gets their hands on Warner Brothers, and I think they will. So, what's Geek Flag saying?
I'm making a very dire prediction, one I don't want to make, but I see the writing on the wall. By the summer of this year, more than half the remaining movie theaters in the United States will be shattered.
I
I'm
don't
talking
know.
about a ghost town when it comes to cinemas, tumbleweeds everywhere.
It's not good. Um, I didn't even put down a best movie of the year. If I did, it probably would have been F1. F1 was a solid blockbuster, which was actually directed by the guy that directed Top Gun Maverick and Tron Legacy.
Yeah.
Because Disney kicked him to the curb, but he's still out there making well received movies. They're just not Tron movies at this point. But anyway, pick number 2 is Xbox.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Every time I click on an Xbox article, it's always
Yep.
something bad.
Yep.
I mean, I've had problems with Nintendo this year, but Switch 2 so far, it had a good launch, so I can't even say, at least financially, they're doing okay. I think they've been acting like asshats, and I'm hoping maybe they can turn that around in the new year.
Boy, that's strong language from you, Boomer.
Realize that the customer is not your enemy.
Yeah.
We'll see. But let's see. Xbox audience interest declines in 2025 and mounting criticism of journalists and creators. So there are like content creators that would, of course, you know how like there are channels that like Sony products or channels that like any kind of fandom, or people that like Nintendo products, or Lego, or whatever you have it. There are channels dedicated to Xbox. They can't get any traction on anything Xbox related, and they're shutting down, or they're changing what they're covering on these channels now, because no one cares about Xbox anymore. Microsoft has killed the brand. They've been wanting to become more of a publisher. They've astronomically increased the cost of a console that frankly was losing in the war anyway, which makes zero sense to me. We have, of course, in the new year, frankly, the RAM shortages, and they didn't plan ahead at all. Leaker says Xbox Series prices may increase again due to severe RAM shortages, with Microsoft reporting telling partners the impact is coming very, very soon. Now, I heard that Sony did prepare for this and that they did store up RAM. Now, eventually, their consoles may have to go up in price because as the price of RAM goes up, so does everything else. But I think Sony, at least, I think they're prepared for this, they stockpile. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Microsoft did no stockpiling. Why does Microsoft do no stockpiling? Because Microsoft is one of the reasons RAM is going up, because they're an AI investor. They're invested in AI like a lot of these other companies.
Yep.
So they're wanting to use the RAM for that. Let's see, what else do we have going on here with Xbox. Microsoft CEO agrees Xbox competition isn't other gaming platforms as TikTok. This is completely clueless. So you have a lot of the Microsoft brass interfering, because from what I heard back in the day when Xbox was successful, it was owned by Microsoft, but it was sort of allowed to independently run. Now I think the Microsoft executives are getting involved. Apparently they're demanding that industry topping profit margins from Xbox, which are severely higher than even Nintendo or Sony has. So, and when Xbox is the big loser of the three, how are they going to meet those margins? One of the reasons they're doing is by increasing prices. And well, let's say you can't afford to buy an Xbox One and you want to play that new Halo game. Well, it's okay because it's out on PlayStation 5. It's out on its direct competitor, which makes no sense to me. If I want to play an Xbox game, that's okay because I can just play it on my PlayStation. This doesn't make any sense to me. This is like Nintendo put Super Mario Brothers on the PlayStation. This doesn't make any sense to me. And Microsoft went through a lot of trouble to buy Activision. They spent a horrendous amount of money to get Call of Duty exclusivity, and now Call of Duty is now not popular anymore because they released a really crappy Call of Duty game, and now people are moving over to Battlezone. or
This is
Battlefield, I should say.
simple. This is simple economics 101. Regardless of the reason you're raising the price, your product has to be in demand enough to merit that price, or it will not sell, and you'll get nothing. You will get nothing.
I have no idea what's going to happen this year with Xbox. I don't think people are buying the console. Maybe the game, maybe they're going to transition to being a publisher. They're obsessed with doing their whole subscription Game Pass service, which they increased the price on, so it's no longer a bargain. So people aren't going for that. Every article I read about Xbox is just wrong, and they didn't make number one because I think gaming can survive without Xbox, because of course this always happens. In the past, you would have
gaming can exist without consoles. I hate to tell you this, Boomer.
Well, you can count me out.
No, okay.
I've never been a PC gamer. Sorry. Pick number 3.
Oh God, yeah. Oh yeah.
This isn't even necessarily picking on Tron Ares, but maybe I should. But I haven't seen it, so I can't speak to the quality of the movie. I'm going to speak to the fact that Tron is now a dead series.
It is. They killed it. They really
it's
did.
Done. It's not coming back.
And honestly, Jared Leto has pretty much become a joke in Hollywood at this point. Between this and what's it called? Morbius and even
no,
you
will watch House of Gucci someday.
Oh, heaven forbid.
This would be if you lose a bet, maybe. That would be
right.
You'd have to watch House of Gucci, because
I haven't even watched Bad Ronald yet.
It's a Ridley Scott movie too. Well, the difference between House
I
of
hate Ridley Scott at this point. He can go to wherever.
Ridley Scott was brilliant with House of Gucci because from what I heard, a friend of mine says the best part of the book is the trial that the Gucci's ex-wife is on for
right.
Hiring assassin his husband. Does the movie focus on the trial at all? It's like 5 minutes at the end of the movie. They could have done the whole movie about the trial. It would have been an interesting movie. But no. Let's spend 3 hours on other BS instead. I don't understand.
What do you mean BS? How do you know? Were you there?
Yes. So I remember reading back how they kept saying, well, why aren't these actors coming back? And I almost felt like the creators, were they actually saying that they didn't want to come back, or they were alluding to that? And then Brock Slider's like, no one contacted me.
Yeah,
about being
exactly.
in
It wasn't
Tron
even a
sequel.
question of whether they wanted to or not.
I mean,
They
I don't
had
know why
no
you'd want to
interest
have
in
Tron
bringing
in a
them back.
Tron movie, but I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Because let the past die. Kill it if you have to. That is the attitude of these morons in Hollywood now.
Why didn't they just do a straight up reboot then? Not that I want a reboot, but that would have made more sense, because it's like they're trying to still have it be in the
Here's
Tron
why.
universe.
Here's
They're
why.
ignoring legacy. Go ahead.
Here's why. Whoever wrote Tron created those characters, right? So if you use those characters, they're still going to get a little kickback for that. See? And if you reboot it and cast with different actors, doesn't matter. You're still using the same characters. But if you do like a side quill where you have all new characters, you don't have to share your writing credit with anybody.
If you remember back to the original Tron, it was not necessarily start out as a Disney production. It was this team wanted to make this movie, and they were shopping it around to various studios, and Disney were the ones that picked it up back in the day. But it didn't start out, I don't think, internally at Disney. And I still consider it a Disney property. But this is Bruce Spotlight telling you to go see the movie anyway. Otherwise, box office, everything. Otherwise, this is going to be a done deal. And I think it's.
You have no idea what deal there was in the background that got him to even give a crap about a film he's not in.
Tron Ares box office flops, factors behind disappointment. There's a whole article on it, and it's just one of the things they said was it ignored legacy.
Yep.
Which
I'm glad they acknowledged it.
Yeah, I don't think anyone was a fan of this. And part of me thought this was going to be like a side Tron story, and then they would use this to get back into Legacy. But I don't know. Everything I heard about this, I know Nerd Cookies goes into a lot more detail on this movie.
She does.
Than me. And
Nerd Cookies is great for this. Also for Dune. Definitely check her out. Okay. Worth it.
And that's my third pick, just because I think Tron is done. I think.
I agree.
I think everything Disney set up with Legacy that's shattered. I think the original Tron will always be considered a classic movie.
Yep.
It was a pioneering science fiction movie, and but I feel like everything they built with Legacy just got thrown out the window, and now they're never going to put money in the Tron again. So I guess that's over.
Yeah, this is exactly it. Deceiving IP titles and no creativity to make a separate property. It's more than not enough creativity. No creativity, but not only that, there's no passion.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. We're being unfair, even though it's not my thing. Cameron's Blue People. That was a passion thing of his.
Yes.
With world building and lore and all that kind of stuff. It's not my thing, but it's the same kind of thing as George Lucas with Star Wars. It's still out there. There are still people doing that stuff. So there's that. But
if I were running Lucas, or not that I would, but if I were running Lucasfilm right now, the task set aside to all the creatives there, you come up with a brand new intellectual property that will be successful, or you don't work here anymore. I wouldn't even have them touch Star Wars until they can prove they can be successful doing something original. I'm done.
That's a great point.
Yes,
that's a great point. You need to, at this point, demonstrate you deserve a seat at the writing table. Period.
Yeah, and Lucasfilm
come to me with your own private individual thing, and if it takes off, you have just created your own new franchise. If not, you don't deserve to be here at all.
I don't know. I just remember when I was growing up, there were all these new things in gaming and everything else, and I feel now it's just regurgitated stuff that is inferior to what came out before. But I know I'm singing an old song. Popes or predictions for 2026?
Well, we've
you
had
can do a hope or a
prediction
prediction or both.
Yeah.
What?
We've had a whole bunch of predictions in the chat tonight. Most of them not very good.
Yeah. This is me. This is my feeling on 20.
This is what you see on the horizon. Right?
I'm very scared of this Netflix Warner deal. I think
I hear you.
And granted, here's my feeling on this. Okay, Netflix gets Warner Brothers, so they make a bunch of substandard movies that nobody wants to see, and they put them directly to Netflix. But I'm really worried about theater chains at this point.
I agree.
And I think Paramount, from what I heard behind the scenes, I think they had the right idea going forward after the Skydance merger. But I don't know yet, because none of this stuff takes years to be put into place. And I'm worried by the time they get their act together, if it's going to be too late. And Universal still being the chicken shits they always are when it comes to making movies. Sorry, that's how I feel. They go with.
I get you. You're
and
right.
To be fair, it works because the new Jurassic World did well. So what do I know? I did not think it was good.
I'll tell you my take on the Warner Brothers thing is that I no longer care. I don't care.
Well, they're a dead studio. That's why you don't care. They
and dead franchises. I no longer care about their DC stuff. I want to like Superman, but it wasn't good enough. And I absolutely hate what I'm seeing of Supergirl coming up. Tired Midnight Blogger, thank you so much, Curtis, for the $5 super chat. I still predict Servalan will end Doctor Who, leading a horde of vampire sand.
Yeah.
You know what? I'd pay to see that. I would absolutely pay to see that. In fact, I'd even be okay if they did AI to resurrect Jacqueline Pierce to do that. I'd be fine with that. I don't know, man. I'll tell you, it's.
I think gaming's headed for a bad space because of this whole RAM shortage thing.
Well, I was just watching a video about, and it didn't take a stance on whether whether there really is an AI bubble or not. It was more breaking down the .com bubble to understand the concept of the bubble from a business standpoint. And basically, what constitutes a bubble is that somebody is lying about the future of a technology or a product or whatever, and enough people believe it. So they're all investing in it, and then when nothing materializes, it collapses. And he looked at 3 different assumptions about AI and the business model and what's going forward. But he points out if all 3 of these come true, you have a good investment in AI and its future. If any one of them collapses, the bubble bursts. But he also points out that for all of these elements of technology throughout history, we started looking, going, where are we going to get all of this from? Where are we going to get all of that from? The most famous one is, turn of the previous century. Where are we going to get more horses from? We don't have enough horses for all the people that need to travel. And then somebody invented the car, and stuff like that. So you never know what could be just around the corner. Now we're starting to invest in all these chips and data centers, and electricity is going to become a problem. So now they're starting to crank up the nuclear plants again, and that could actually end up ultimately being a good thing, because we should be going back to a renewable fuel like fusion.
Right.
Well, fission, I should say.
Plus, it's improved
fission.
a
We
lot.
still want to see hope.
I think people are still having images of what they were like back in the 70s. They've actually improved these plants a lot over the years.
Well, just look at France. France is cutting edge with their nuclear power plants. And everyone's so concerned, well, what are we going to do with all the nuclear waste? The nuclear waste that first, France has found a way to recycle a lot of that.
Reuse it, which I thought was interesting.
A lot of it. Yes. To the point that, we have all these tanks and barrels that we're sticking into a landfill somewhere. They got like these little boxes, you know, after they've refined and refined and refined and reused.
Geek Flag, we just said something nice about France. Okay.
Yeah. So I also feel like the way AI is being used, especially in terms of gaming, they're really missing the boat on this.
Oh no, Microsoft's all in on it too. That was another article I didn't put up there. They're all about, we're going full on with AI.
Here's my thought. If you think about games like Fallout, think about games like, these adventure games where you're first person or whatever.
Yeah.
And we're still using the same kind of, I don't want to call it a game engine, because that means like the physics and I'm talking about the story mode, right? Where you meet up with a character, you have a set of 3 things that you could say to him, and it's like a twist the plot adventure book.
Right.
And it's been this way for over 40 years. At this point, when I can go on grok.com and talk to it in a way that passes the friggin' Turing test, they need to start working that kind of communication.
Yeah, but that's not what they're talking about. They're talking about having the AI do the programming instead of hiring a developer.
Then you're going to end up with slop bullshit.
Yes.
Is what it's going to be.
Because I understand what you're saying. This would make better NPCs.
Yeah.
Yes, I understand that. Yeah. That makes sense to me.
Understanding that the ability to understand language, the ability to pick up nuance of what a human being says in character and then respond in character is entirely doable now with the large language models that exist, but writing the story, you're going to end up with, 6 fingers and missing legs, just saying. And it's not like you have creators that are going to bother doing the editing. Hell, there's crap on YouTube right now being generated by AI that nobody is paying attention to. They're not proofreading the title. They're not listening to the audio that's being spewed. It's garbage.
there's fake outs with like world leaders saying things.
Yeah,
I've been
yeah.
noticing a lot of fake religious videos on things
I
saying about
saw
things
one.
happening. Yeah,
What's her name? Conservative Australian
yeah.
commenter.
Oh,
Watley,
Sydney. No.
Sydney Watson. That's
Yes,
it.
yes.
She was talking as I was getting ready for tonight's talk. She was talking about Stranger Things, and she had a couple of scenes. I thought she had shown scenes from Stranger Things, and I'm like, I don't remember that scene. They weren't actually scenes from the show. They were AI generated. And she said, yes, these are AI because I don't want to get hit with a copyright. She went off on copyright situation. I will be doing a video in the very near future with Michael French talking about the brokenness
Right.
of the platform and whatnot. But she actually had generated scenes that look like it came from this season of Stranger Things, but it wasn't the actual scenes. And I'm like, first, it's so close. I'm surprised that, she can't still get hit for a copyright claim. But secondly, I was like, damn, that's pretty damn impressive. You can't even tell. But then again, there's other people out there that, and actually Nate is one. He is making, using AI to create storytelling elements. And there's people out there making, Star Wars stuff that is very clearly, what do you call it? AI, but better than what Disney is doing right now. I've shared some of them on my MeWe page. An interaction between Luke and Leia going to see the grave of their mother. And it's a good story. I mean, it's not a full like movie or anything like that. It's just a little vignette, but it's good, well written, and it looks like Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher. It sounds like them. Yes, you can still tell it's AI, but I can overlook that when you compare it to anything that we've gotten from Disney Star Wars.
Yeah, but I've also seen like, I mean, you can sort of tell it's not a real person, but they were doing these fake videos with Tim Waltz recently, where like he's copping to all the bad stuff he did in front of a live audience. You know what I'm saying? Oh crap, it's just I don't know, man. I'm just worried because the audio I think they perfected audio, and they haven't gotten
there was
right there with video, but
they're starting to. I mean, look, even the what do you call it? Catfishing on X. They're getting better and better with that. Where you have somebody saying, "Hey," and it looks like totally legit. It's like a person, what do you call it? An account that's doing like political commentary. It's saying, hey, you should really follow this person. And you look and it looks like a real person. You go to their page, it looks like actual content. Then I'm looking at this person's picture. And there's just that, I'm not real sure that's real. But you also think, well, maybe they've just touched it up. They've got a filter on their photograph. But then when you click on it, you realize it's a video and it's a girl sitting in a car, smiling. And then all of a sudden she has like a squirrel come up and give her a little kiss on the cheek. And I'm like, that's AI.
Yes.
That's AI. And suddenly you realize this whole identity isn't even real. It's and we have people that can't even tell propaganda from reality. They don't know history. They believe actual lies and fallacies. They're not going to be able to heck, you still have people that think that what's her name, the governor from Alaska,
Palin.
Yeah, that Palin said, I can see Russia from my house, not understanding that was Tina Fey, was that her name?
Yeah, Tina
On
Fey.
Tina
Saturday
Fey
Night
did that,
Live.
yes.
You know, it's like I am surrounded by idiots. You know, this whole there's a whole generation of people that have just lost their damn minds. Yeah. Anyway. So one, I don't know if this is a good or a bad prediction, but I'm doubling down on I don't. So let's say worst case scenario, your Netflix thing happens. Warner Brothers is bought up by Netflix. That effing frees up Paramount to start cleaning their own house, and I do believe that they're looking to do something with Star Trek, and it's not going to have anything to do with Kurtzman. I don't know if it's going to be good. I don't know if it's going to be bad, but I know it'll be different. It won't be Kurtzman Trek, and Kurtzman Trek and JJ Trek already will be decanonized. They will not exist anymore.
Respect the audience and treat the audience like it's intelligent too. And that might mean you as a writer also have to have some brains as well when writing this stuff. That's what I want to say here.
Yeah.
I want good.
Yeah.
I want to go back to the Star Trek at all. Even like it's funny because I had on earlier Star Trek: The Undiscovered Country, really well done, and I don't think it had a huge budget, but it looks good, and it was a murder mystery. That's what it basically is. It's a whodunit,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
trying to figure out who killed the Chancellor Gorkin. That was this whole thing, and I thought that was an interesting way to end the.
And then
Kirk
it dealt with like conspiracy, government conspiracy, and all that kind of
conspiracies. Yes, there was a government conspiracy in the Federation, also
working with the enemy, right?
Working with the enemy. Yes,
and it speaks directly to that whole military-industrial complex, right? We got to keep the war going.
Yes.
Both sides wanted that.
Yes.
There are teenagers today who think that the world used to be in black and white, and they're not kidding. Yeah, I got to stop making that joke because I oftentimes joke about, back in my mom's day before color was invented. I got to stop making that joke because people actually believe that crap. Just saying. Just saying. There's still people that believe that The Wizard of Oz was the first color movie. Because the first part of it was filmed in black and white, and then they were able to.
I think as a kid, I thought that. To be honest with you.
Well, and that's fine for a kid to believe that. It's like, ooh, and it is. It's very striking because you see an older movie and it's in black and white, and it doesn't surprise you at all. But then when suddenly and the way they did it was quite brilliant. That transition to color is just eye-catching and brilliant. It's a little bit of a movie magic. It's a bit of a magic trick the way they did it. But no, it was by no means the first color film. But it came out at a time that was just perfect for it to come out in, because although there were other color films,
like I think Robin Hood predates it, the Errol Flynn one.
Right.
That was color.
But
not as bold color, but it was still color.
There was a lot of movies still in production that were black and white, and not all of the studios were ready to switch over to black and white.
Color was expensive too.
We all know that the first color movie was Young Frankenstein. Young Frankenstein 2. That's right. Because the original Young Frankenstein was in black and white. That's right.
Funny.
Yes, it was.
There you go. But I can't even begin. Every time I try to think about anything else, I think back to when I was more optimistic about Star Wars, when I was more optimistic about all these other things. Maybe I've just become jaded, or maybe it's just realism. You see the same cycles repeating, and you start going, you know what? I have no reason to believe we're going to break out of this cycle. Until it actually happens.
The problem is they don't learn; they double down. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
I don't think you did. I'm unaware.
I feel like they don't learn from the mistakes, and they just keep doubling down. Yeah. I'm going to be very curious because Disney has Mandalorian and Grogu coming out this summer. I want to see how that's going to do in the box office.
Uh, my prediction on that is that it all depends on the word of mouth from opening weekend. If they've done something really brilliant that gets the fans going crazy about it and going, oh, you got to see this, you're going to see it have legs the next week and it'll do well. If you have the YouTubers and the blogosphere, hyping it, it will do well. If that doesn't happen, and even worse, if there's something they can point to and say, this is exactly what we expected. It's, they pulled another wokeification, rewrite history, stupid thing, then it's dead in the water. It's just dead in the water. I honestly think, though, that it's going to be neither of those things. I think it's going to be more, meh. It's going to be, yeah, this is another season of the show just edited down into a movie. It's meh.
And then we have Avengers Doomsday coming out next year also. Not next year. I keep saying next year, this year. We're
This year,
now. Yes.
yeah. Oh yeah,
So
I don't care about that one way or the other. It could go well, it can go to hell. I don't know, and they're just going to do it without my money.
I don't even know if I even want to talk about Supergirl, because if it's a I don't know if it matters if it does well. Not that I even want it to do well, but it's going to be a Netflix thing. So
yeah, exactly. You're going to get it
so
in the theater for 2 weeks, and then it goes to Netflix, and no one's gonna see it.
there we go. Okay. Hopefully Paramount gets its act together. They're the studio I'm most hopeful for. We'll see if they can right the ship, because Skydance is now running them. We'll see. I just don't know. Okay.
All right, let's bring it to a close, folks, because
Yes.
I didn't even ask you before we went live if you had to work tomorrow.
I don't.
Okay, well, good, but let's still
Let's
bring it in.
Wrap it up. Yeah.
But we've talked for a while here, but was there any well, real quick, just remember tomorrow night, Big L presents Pan's Labyrinth. Sunday night, of course, Geeky Geezers, bunch of stuff that Deleted Scenes is doing. I don't remember Deleted if you have reserved seats after Geeky Geezers, but then after that would be the new Doctor Who watch party here on this channel. Going back to the beginning, if you've never seen the original William Hartnell Doctor, come join us. If you just want to relive it because you're sick of what they're doing to Doctor Who now, also come join us. It's late night. It's going to be a late Sunday night, so maybe get a nap in if you have to in order to stay up late with me on Sunday nights. Let's see. Monday, members night at the movies. Members, I haven't looked in the past 4 or 5 hours or so, but the last I looked,
I can look
Sliding Doors was the front runner
because of me.
because Netter voted.
I've only member for like 2 more days.
We had a 3-way tie, so it
Uh,
only took one vote to break that tie.
But I'll tell you where you're at.
So
Give me
unless one of
sec.
you members go in and vote, that's what it's probably going to be on Monday.
Hold on, I will tell you exactly where it's at. Give me 1 sec. Come on.
While she's doing that, returning on Tuesday is, of course, the return of Live from Sparkwood and 21 with very special guest, obnoxious. What is it? Anonymous and obnoxious and anonymous.
It's still Sliding Doors.
Still Sliding Doors. Okay. To talk about his Twin Peaks fan film that he is trying to get made. Well, we already have Queen of Hearts that we've watched. We'll probably do it again in the future at some point, but we'll talk a little bit about that. But we'll also talk about Black Rose, that project, and where that is at. Looking forward to that. Let's see. David Kinson says, saw you were live, thought I'd check it out. Maybe I'll catch you next time. Long time since we spoke last. Star Trek Online. Cheers, brother. Great to see you. Yeah, Star Trek Online. I haven't talked about that in a long time. Love Star Trek Online. It's kind of kept Star Trek alive for me in these days of the Kurtzman Trek.
David, he is on every weekday at noon Central, 1 Eastern, and every Friday night,
right here,
9 Central, 10 Eastern, right here. So
and
feel free to join anytime.
I was really just going through there. Doctor Who on Sunday, of course, Liquid Lunch every afternoon. Tuesday, live from Sparkwood 21, followed by The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes on Tuesday night. Thursday, Netters Network. Anything special going on?
Yes, your birthday.
Oh, right. Netters going to be celebrating my birthday on Thursday, so I guess I'll be her guest on Thursday. Do a little celebrating on Thursday, and we're going to carry that over into next week's last call. So let's just party and get drunk for my birthday. How's that sound?
Yep, he's going to be a whole 585.
585. 585. That's right. And that's it. That is it. Of course, unscripted on Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern on Deleted Scenes. That's 7 for those of us in the Central Time Zone. And that's all I got. Agent Boomer, anything else that I haven't covered that I should have done? Or any last words you want to share?
I think we got everything. Just you mentioned Liquid Lunch, right? To be sure to tune into Liquid Lunch every day of the week. So, yeah, I think we're good.
And Netter, any last thoughts, any last words before we close it down?
I just want to tell all of you how much we all appreciate you. Thank you so much for channels and for getting Troy over 100 members. That was a big goal that he was shooting for, and I can't thank y'all enough.
You guys are wonderful.
You guys really pulled through for him, and I know he was so super encouraged. And of course, you all know that I'm his biggest cheerleader, so I'm going to keep touting that. But y'all are Osmo, so thank you again for being here. And until next time, good night and God bless.
Absolutely. There's the reserved seats at 11 p.m. Eastern. Right now I'm giving him 2 hours. So right now I'm planning Doctor Who at midnight Central. So that would be 1 Eastern. But if Deleted decides he's going to pull that back to an hour, maybe I'll pull my show back by an hour. Make it a little bit earlier for all of y'all. We'll see. I'll talk about that behind the scenes with Deleted Scenes. He's also got a mystery movie returning this week on Tuesday at 7 Eastern. That's 6 Central. Make sure you check that out on his channel. And that, my friends, is Last Call. You guys, thank you all so much. You guys take care of yourselves. Drink responsibly. Stay hydrated. We'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.
Good night, ladies.
Good night, sir.
Hit it, sweetheart.
The neon lights are fading, closing time is near. Whispers in the corners, secrets shared sincere. The bartender's polishing the final glass. Time slips away like moving through the grass. Last call for alcohol, make your dreams come true. One more round, friends, from me and you. Let's toast to the night, to the stories we've spun. Here's to the laughter and to what's begun. The shadows are dancing as we linger still. Every clink of a glass, a memory to distill. leads us with a final tune, crooning to the lonely and the lovers under the moon. With every soft note, the end draws ever near, but in this fleeting moment, there's nothing to fear. Last call for alcohol, make your dreams come true. One more round